Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Hard Rock Sports Studios and another edition of the weekly video recap. On March 31st.
Down goes Frazier! It's over the wall. It's a home run for Bucky Bench. Fumble. Giants have it. Lawrence Taylor struck the ball. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes!
With the players.
Live direct from hell.
But hey, enough of my yakking. What do you say? Let's boogie.
And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another Thursday night edition of the Hard Rock Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rock Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your weekly 3-hour weekly get-together. We give you all the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And, guys, thanks for tuning in. We got a big show. We're going to get right to it tonight. But I hope you guys have had a great week. It's chaos out there. But you know what? We're going to ignore that. We're going to ignore that a little bit tonight. Certainly not going to get into it. Maybe a little bit with our guest, Tommy John. But short of that, we're going to stay away from all the craziness and concentrate on craziness in sports. You know, Giants, Jets. That's crazy enough. One team on the rise, even though I don't know. We'll get to that. Lots to talk about tonight. We got Tommy John on 7:45. Paul Gill, Jeff and I, our dear friend, is going to come on about 7:15. Talk baseball, Major League Baseball season, kind of put the bow on the season. We'll get to that in about 7:15. Our good friend Rafael Esparza, the head odds maker at mybookie.ag, pops in about 8:30 on an off week. Kind of catch up with him, and there's lots of stuff in the betting world to talk about. Heisman races. We got college football playoffs. We got so much to get to. We got the upcoming Tyson fight at the end of the month. So much to talk to him about. We'll get to that tonight. We have so much. I'm so glad you guys are here with us. We are here every Thursday night, 6, 7 to 10. Well, maybe a little earlier tonight. We'll see. And we got so much to talk about. And I'm going to get my co-host and my dear friend on right now. His name is Cakes. I don't know why he's calling himself Cakes, but I'm going to add Mr. Jeff the Green Talwinski to the air. Jeff, welcome to the show.
What's up, man?
What's up, brother? What's going on?
Nah, nothing much, dude. Nothing much.
Yep, lots to get to this week, Jeff. A crazy week in football. Crazy, just lots of weird games. We'll kind of get to that maybe with Raphael and a little bit after, but so much going on in the world today. But we're going to try to keep it to sports and music. What do you think?
The only thing I could say about what's going on is this: everybody needs to calm down. Nothing was finished counting yet.
Yeah.
Everybody's bugging out over nothing. And you know what? It is kind of bullshit because some of these places have had votes for how long?
Yeah.
Mail-in voting, and you're still waiting. You're still counting votes.
Yeah. Listen, it's some crazy stuff. I mean, stopping counting at 10:30 at night and ballots showing. Listen, you know what? Like I said, there's so much. I don't know what's going to change, what's not going to change, and I really don't care at this moment in my life. Whatever happens, it happens, and the show will go on, our lives will go on, and it's too much for me to worry about in my life.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. Everything is still going to go on, no matter what happens. It's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Listen. I want it to be a fair, and regardless of who wins. I'll tell you one thing, Jeff. I don't want to get the politics of it, but whoever these guys who do the polls are. That industry is done as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how much you pay attention to that, but there were polls that had Joe Biden leading in Wisconsin by 17 points And if he wins it, it'll be around, I think it's like maybe 2 points. I mean, just to completely, the polling in the last 2 elections has just been horrendous.
Dude, listen, when it comes to that, whatever the case is,
But
who the fuck knows? But like you said, tonight's not the night. We don't even know what we're talking about tonight because you don't know if there's a winner, and who knows if there'll be a winner by next week.
yeah, listen, I'm sure there'll be a winner by the weekend. Maybe because it'll probably happen just before the weekend, like they always do. They dump news stories right before the weekend so that it kind of blows over a little bit. But listen, this is going to go through the court system. This will be a raging debate that they're already asking for recounts. So this is not going to be over anytime soon. And you know what? At this point, like I said, let them figure it out. And then whatever happens. You just hope it's a fair thing. But speaking of fair, let's get to. I want to get my dad on because then we got Paul coming up. We got a lot of Jets and Giants stuff to get to. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. I want to get a little something in about my friends over. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me get. I got a message from my boys at Black Sasquatch. Okay, yeah. Let me get that on real quick. Thanksgiving Eve, November 25th, featuring Audio Side. With special guests Dejected. Sam Levy's birthday party, doors at 6, pre-sale $5, $10 at the door. Somewhere Else Bar, 386 West Main Street, Newark, Ohio. Get down to Sam Levy's birthday party, featuring I think it's Audio Side with special guests Dejected, Black Sasquatch, our good friends. So make sure you guys, if you're doing nothing November 25th, that's Thanksgiving Eve. If you're not making your turkey, and even if you are, throw it in the oven and run down to Sam Levy's birthday party on November 25th at Somewhere Else Bar, 386 West Main Street, Newark, Ohio. Make sure you check them out. Those guys are the best. Lots of stuff coming up from Black Sasquatch. Hopefully we'll get those guys on soon. But we got plenty to get to. We're waiting for our good friend Paul Gill to pop up in about 5 or 6 minutes. But in the meantime, let's get my dad on. Let's see what he's got to talk about. And then we'll get ready for Paul. Jeff, you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Hey, Pop.
Hey, Tom, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, Dad.
I've been waiting all week for you guys because I watched the Giant game.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a fantastic game. My one thing, maybe it's me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the game. Now, I love Tom Brady. I think he's a great quarterback of his era. Nobody's been better than him.
I agree.
And you got a couple of minutes left, whatever it was left in the game, okay? And he's going for his touchdown, whatever he's going for, and you put him on with a 3-man rush. I'm trying to understand. I'm screaming at the TV. I'm actually screaming. The Giants have proved through the years that if you put pressure on him or any quarterback, he sat there, he could have had breakfast. I counted up 5, 6, 7 seconds, and he was still standing there looking for his man. You put it to what was the Giants thinking? Is it me or? I mean, I would send the whole team after him. I would forget the receivers, forget everything. As soon as that ball was snapped, just go after him. Why would you sit there and put it to? You cannot listen. I don't care how many guys you put on anybody. I don't know how great the defensive back is, safety is. But if you're sitting there and you give him enough time if his first pattern's not working, he's going to beat you. Am I crazy or what?
Jeff, I'll let you take it first if you like.
Listen, you're right. Everybody knows all you got to do is rush up the middle at him and flush him out a little bit, and he gets flustered. And I didn't see that part of the game. I had gone to bed by that point in time. But I agree with you. Why give this guy all the time in the world that he needs? Throw everything that you got at him. I understand that they got a suspect secondary, so maybe they were using the extra help to watch the wide receivers. But you got to put on pressure. You don't put pressure on them, then you might as well just let those guys just stand there with their hands up and let him move around back there.
Yeah. I agree. Here's what I'll say. I thought the Giants played a decent game, especially defensively. They were in it. I thought they got robbed on about 4 calls, a couple of holding penalty and 2 pass interference, and the last play of the game. You're right, Dad. Too many teams go into that prevent or put more DBs out there. I would have went after him with pressure. There's two theories, and I like your theory, and it's worked for the Giants in the past. So I don't know why they abandoned. They were getting to him, and they were pressuring him all night, and they took the watchdogs off and let him throw. But a good game by the Giants, and you know what, that they may be 1-7, and I get that they're not a great team. I get that, they're 1-5 in games when they're like losing in the last minute. But this team is a better team, at least being coached. They're still short of talent, but this team is very well coached and they're very well poised. And I think there's a bright future, some new parts. But I thought it was a good game too.
I thought they played good. I think they're a very good team.
Yeah.
I think the kid has to be taught a little more. He's still young.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be taught when to eat the ball and when to throw it.
I agree.
And I still think when he comes out, when he gets that snap, he has to learn to roll.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, he don't have the line to protect him.
Yeah.
And as soon as he snapped the ball, they were all over him.
Yeah, I agree, but I thought they did a better job of going to they ran a couple trick plays, which I thought was good. I thought they did a better job of moving him around. And I tell you what, everybody can pick on him, and I'll let Jeff go right after me because I know Jeff has some issues with it. But I thought the kid did a great job in that last drive. He had 2 4th and 15, a 4th and 15 and a 4th and 16, and he made them both. And he showed a lot of poise, got him down, scored the touchdown. And I'll say that he threw a bad pass on that last play, but it still should have been pass interference. Go ahead, Jeff.
I would imagine that the Bucs were playing a soft D on him, maybe playing a little prevent or something and giving this guy plenty of room. I can't see Daniel Jones orchestrating a comeback at this point in time. The guy, the only person in the NFL that has more turnovers than him in the same amount of games is Carson Wentz.
Listen, I agree with that.
The guy's career is going right now.
So, Jeff, I agree, but he did put a nice job together. And regardless, listen, you complete 2 4th down and 15s on a final drive. That's pretty impressive. One with his feet, one with his arm. So again, there's a lot of stuff you could throw. He gave up 10 points by himself with 2 bad picks. So I agree with you that there's a lot to be desired so far with Daniel Jones. But I think the kid's got a future. Now, I don't know about you, but I like the guy. And people forget Eli was bad.
I love him. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he reminds me a lot of Eli Manning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, he's a tough kid. He takes a beating. He's not afraid to get hurt. And it's just like a lot of quarterbacks. He has to learn when to throw the ball away.
I agree.
When to eat it. He threw, especially the run back they made on the kickoff, and they went 40-something yard line. They were. You have momentum, you have everything. And plus their defense I think they have a very, very good defense.
Yeah.
They were playing a very good team.
Yeah.
But you're not playing a bum team.
No, just
pretty good.
Some people think they're the best team in the NFC.
Bucs?
Yeah.
I don't know about the NFC, but they're evidently a good team.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Giants.
Yeah, I thought it was a good game. Interesting game this weekend. Hey, listen. Just go out there and play the game. I love the way this guy judge coaches. We'll get to a lot of it more later after Tommy John's on, but I have to tell you, I've been impressed with the coaching staff, with some of their pickups, and they're a year or so away, but that's okay. I like what I've seen so far.
I do too. All right, I'm gonna let
90
you guys go. I'm gonna come back
seconds.
later. I want to hear Tommy John. I love it. I'm gonna hear it tonight.
You got it, Bob. No problem.
All right, talk to you guys later.
You got it.
Yeah, Mr. Florio.
Hey, Dad. Okay, so Jeff, I know you're not thrilled with what you've seen so far from Daniel Jones, but we're gonna table again real quick because I want to get Paul. Paul just popped up, so again, give me your quick take.
I just think that you're putting too much on him, and you're hoping on him too much, and I just don't think that he's the answer. And in today's NFL, every time there's somebody pick somebody, draft somebody. Oh, that's him. That's the man. That's our godsend.
Well, I think Jeff,
just because he was the 6th pick doesn't mean anything.
No, I agree with that. But you don't draft a guy at number 6 and go, well, he's really not that good. Your idea is you picked him because you thought he was. And again, one last thing before Eli Manning's first 3.5 years, he was up and down. People were calling for his head, the whole bit, and then he goes into that playoffs. Goes on a run, wins the Super Bowl, and now Eli Manning is cemented in Giant law for the rest of his life. So I'm willing to give this kid a little time. I've seen enough from him, but listen, let's table the Giants for a few. It's time to talk some baseball and put a bow on the season.
10 seconds.
We got it. We got to put.
10 seconds. Keep counting.
Yeah, don't worry about that. That's again, that's just Blog Talk doing its thing. I don't know. It doesn't matter tonight. We don't need Blog Talk, but I'll let it hang as long as it can. Let's get. He's a friend of ours for over 40 years, and I think he's our baseball expert. I just haven't nailed him down to a contract. So let's get our good friend Paul Gill on. What's up, Gil?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's up, Mr. Paul?
How you doing?
All righty.
We're all good out here, Paul. We're just enjoying some sports talk tonight, getting ready to get some stuff, and throughout all this craziness, we did have sports this year. So I wanted to put a bow on the season, and I thought no better way to do it than getting you on and talking some baseball.
Let's do it.
All right, so I'll start it off, Jeff, and of course you, as usual, you jump right in when you feel up to it, Paul. Obviously, this was a baseball season not compared to any we've ever seen before. Okay, when you look at it now that it's over, when you say now it's in the past, we got through the World Series. I think baseball did a decent job getting through the season. Give me your overall take on baseball 2020.
You know what? Baseball is unique because it is the only sport that plays 162 games usually. We played 60 games. And, all throughout the season, I kept thinking to myself, well, when the season first started, I kept thinking, how many times in our 40 some odd years of watching baseball, after 60 games, the teams that seem like the powerhouse, the ones that are going to be amazing, at the end, they're not there, or at least they're not the powerhouse, right?
Right.
So here we had a microcosm of what a baseball season is. It intensified everything. The guy who goes on a 25-game hitting streak just had a hitting streak for half the season. Like it was intense. I got to say, I thank God we had baseball. I don't care if it was 20 games or 60 games or whatever. I'm so glad we had baseball. What I saw was a lot of guys that couldn't like adapt to what they had to adapt to, the lack of spring training, COVID tests constantly, games being canceled because one guy in the back office got the virus, it was a weird season. And I think it's a season that could potentially affect how baseball is run and played for years to come. A couple of good things I think came from it though.
Good, because I want to segue to that. But here's the one I say. You brought up a good point where teams start off like Tarzan and end up like Jane. But there's also seasons where teams come off and they're terrible the first half of the season, and then they pick it up in the second half. And I think that we didn't see that this year. Same thing with players. There's players who get off to slow starts, and the next thing you know, they get their numbers. I want to bring up one or two that here's what I said, and you tell me how crazy this is, Jeff. You too. I took it this year. Whatever happened. I am not putting any stock in anybody's numbers this year. If you were really good this year, but in the years past you haven't been, I'm throwing it out. If you were really bad, and I'll use Alonso as that stick. Here's a kid who had a great rookie season, did not have a good year this year. I'm throwing it out. I'm going to say it doesn't matter because I think this was just a crazy year. Forget the numbers. I almost think they shouldn't even count the numbers this year. Do you think that's crazy, or how do you read guys who had better than average or worse than average seasons, Paul?
You know what? I hate to use this word because it's bothered us for so long, but you got to put an asterisk on it. I mean, like you said, before the season started, if God forbid somebody hits 400 this year, there's got to be an asterisk on it. And you know
Absolutely.
what? And that's what this year is. Now, guys who hit 16, 20 home runs, whatever, batted 340 this year in the 60 games that they played. I mean, it's their stat. It's what they had. Everybody across the board had the same exact amount of games, amount of days, amount of practice, everything. So the thing is, of course, it should count in that respect. But in terms of like some record-breaking record, or what, I don't fault the Dodgers for winning the series. They are the World Series champion of 2020.
Legit. Completely legit.
It's weird though because it's like it's a 162 game season plus the playoffs, and we had like a little tiny piece of it. And again, like I said in the beginning, thank God for it. But it's It was really weird. I think one of the things that's going to come from this, I mean, the owners, I mean, everybody did, but the owners lost so much friggin' money this year.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I really wonder how that's going to play into owners
Oh.
going out and looking at free agents.
Oh, you're going to see. Yeah. Yeah, you're going
Totally
to see.
re-upping. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I
going to see
mean,
it because you don't know what you're going to have next year. Nobody's guaranteeing that there'll be fans next year. So, Jeff, going back, let's go to you before I go to Paul for the next thing. When you look at the stats from players this year, are you putting much stock in guys who are up or down? Just this is kind of to me a weird season.
It's kind of hard to really say that though, simply because just last year, DeGrom ended up winning the Cy Young Award with 9 wins. So it's like there's a showing last year, a guy didn't even win 10 games and they give him the Cy Young Award. And we're here talking about how the stats from this year compared to last year. I will agree the stats are upside down simply because, like Paul said, you can have a 25 game hitting streak that's half the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Even some of these other guys, they get hot 2 or 3 weeks out of the year, and I'm talking really hot. And then next thing you know, they could be batting over 300, 320. And normally this is a guy that maybe he's batting 280. But because he had a hot stretch at the right time, it boosted up his average. Home runs and power numbers are the ones that really suffered the most. Strikeouts, wins for pitches. But, a normal ERA. I don't know what the league leader was, but, 1 or 2 bad games. And next thing you know, your ERA could be in the 7s.
Well,
there's a big difference between
absolutely. Jeff, and you and I have talked about personal awards this year. Paul, I'm a big believer in that this year there should be no MVP, there should be no Cy Young. I just don't see the personal awards being something that's worth merit. To think that DeGrom could have his 3rd Cy Young this year based on 10 or 12 starts just bothers me. Your thought?
I agree 1,000%. I mean, you know what? Every single Cy Young MVP that has been awarded in the past has been 154, 162 games, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And now we're going to give someone the same accolade for a third of that season. I agree 1,000%. I mean, it shouldn't be given out. I mean, it's just another part of the world that we're living in right now. And, people are suffering all over in some way or another. And baseball and awards should probably suffer the same way. I mean, it's not the same season.
Let me ask you something. Don't you think that the people that did do good for the amount of games that they played should get acknowledged on some level? I mean, say you get a guy that hit 15 home runs. Okay. He basically played a third of the season, which means that he would hit somewhere between 45, I'll say 40 to 50 home runs. I'll put him in that area. And let's say that he had 40 RBIs. That means that he could be up to maybe 120, 125 RBIs on the season. I know that he didn't catch that number, but I mean, don't you give him some kind of credit, some kind of accolade?
I don't.
Numbers that he did?
I won't. And here's why. Do we really think, Paul, that Luke Voigt would have hit 66 home runs this year? He had 22 home runs he didn't even play 60 games. Do I really believe that Luke Voigt's going to hit 66 home runs? No, I unfortunately for them, I just can't give them an award for playing the third of the season and give an MVP. Again, you can't. Again, I'll say it 100 times. It's like being the tallest midget at the circus. Does it really matter? You won the most games out of 10.
And I mean, the other way of looking at it too is like Luke Voigt, for instance. Here's a guy who I think 2 or 3 years ago was working at a Piggly Wiggly, and he came in and he did what he did. God bless him, because he was one of the bright notes on the Yankees this year. But like, I just can't justify giving the honor of an MVP or a Cy Young in this particular season.
Correct.
Like, and make it be equal to the guy that won it last year or the year before or 25 years ago, when he played through how many 100 games, right? He played through all kinds of things and, like injuries. And I mean, look, in a shortened season, we had a bunch of injuries, but in a shortened season, you're less likely to get injured during the season. It's basic math, Yeah. And the thing is, part of being an MVP, part of being a Cy Young, part of winning those awards is, being able to be healthy enough to win that award. So it's I mean, I don't know. No, they shouldn't give him out. But
You know what? It just the same on the same token. And Paul, me and Tommy like to do this just about every subject. We got to investigate the other side. A guy gets a small injury. Say a guy stubs his toe in the morning, getting up out of bed, and he's a pitcher, and he loses 3 spots, or 3 turns. What happens? That's like losing 10 games over the course of the season for some of these guys. So although I understand what you're saying, you got to think of it. The smallest injury could be something that could be devastating to a guy
in this season. Yeah, but again, the thing is, I just don't think that we can equate like their accomplishment this year to any other year. We can't make it equal. I mean, again, if you want to give him an MVP, if you want to give him a Cy Young, I think you got to put a little asterisk on it.
I agree. If you want to say the guy won the batting title because he wound up with the best average or the Cy Young or the ERA title, okay, it's not a big deal. But to give out Cy Youngs and MVPs, I can't do it. I just can't do it. But the Hard Rocket Sports, 347-826-9934 on the radio side. We're here on the live stream side. Jeff Twinski, Tom Flory, and our good friend Paul Gill talking baseball, putting a little bow on the season. 2020, the most interesting baseball season. Hey, Paul, you know what? Let's talk about some of the changes that you mentioned. And there's a bunch. I want you to tell me which ones you liked, what you didn't like, and what you would keep going forward. Both of you guys. Runner on second base in extra innings. I didn't like it before. I'm not sure I dislike it now.
Hate it.
Okay. I'm good. Why?
I mean, the game is about winning the game. Like putting a guy on second base is just saying we don't want to stay here that long. And I mean, it bothers me. It bothers me. It's like you didn't earn second base.
Yeah.
That's me.
Okay. So no keeping from Jeff. Would you keep something like that going forward, Jeff?
No, because in football, that's like putting letting the team line up in the field goal range, so that at least they're going to at least kick a field goal.
Interesting comparison.
I don't like it. Like Paul said, it's not even that I want to go as far as to say earn it, but I mean, come on, man, that's like putting a guy halfway. Guy bunts, and you get a real speedster on the bases. You know what I mean? The guy could score from second base real easy that way. I don't like it.
Okay, I agree. Okay, no problem. How about the DH, Paul? You're a guy but love baseball. You're a natural National League guy. Did you like the National League and you want to keep it?
Love it, and I want to keep it. And I know you should laugh at me because how many years have I been telling you that DH is bullshit? And I friggin' love it. Love it, and I want to keep it.
For you, I'll tell you why. It keeps Dominic Smith and Pete Alonso on the same team. And I'll tell you what, I think Dom Smith may have been the best player on the Mets this year. Without the DH, you have a hard time keeping both of them.
I hated Dominic Smith. From the second he came up, I thought he was fat. I thought he was lazy. I thought this and that and this and that. And I totally misjudged this guy. And this guy came in, and it was his time. He was supposed to be our first baseman. And this Alonso kid came up, made all kinds of sparks. He lost his gig. He ends up being one of the best guys in our dugout. He's loved by everybody, and he had 42 friggin' RBIs this year. I mean, God bless him.
Absolutely, Jeff. DH.
I don't listen. I'm not a big baseball guy, you know that. But the thing to me is the difference between the American League and the National League that makes each one unique is the DH. I like the idea of not having a DH. It reminds me of what old-time baseball must have been like to play. A little bit more grit, a completely different mindset of a game, different strategy, different everything. I'm not saying that it's, a DH is always going to be good for 35 home runs and 100 RBIs, but more often than not, that's closer to the numbers he's going to get than what a pitcher does. I think it makes the game more pure. I would like to see them keep it the way it was with no DH. That's me. Let the American League keep the DH. It mixes it up in the World Series.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a total advantage for the National League because when they do get to the series, they're getting the advantage of the DH when they play in the American League park, and the National League pitchers hit all year round. Meanwhile, the American League pitchers don't even know how to hold a bat. So
but
for
how
them,
many-
it's an advantage.
To an extent, I got you. The problem is how many National League pitchers are hitting 110 with 3 RBIs for the season. I don't think these guys are any good anyway.
For their career, never mind the season.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm not a big fan of the pitchers hitting. It's almost like an automatic out, and I think it causes. Again, it's a lot of strategy, Jeff. I agree with you.
Yeah, but that's what makes it
hitting in a close game, and you're pulling your pitcher out because he's a liability.
That's the game that you play.
I got it. I agree with you on that, but I think
when do you pull him? Who do you put in? What do you do? There's a lot going on there.
I'm not
be on your game for that shit.
Gotcha. Paul, 7-inning double headers. Didn't like it. Understood why they did it, but I'm not a fan of a 7-inning double header. I think it changes the whole game, the way you take a look at today and tomorrow. But I understand why they did it. I don't want to go forward. Your thought?
I didn't like it. I mean, I understand why, but like, if there's nobody in the stands and that's what you're worried about, play the friggin' game. I mean, what was the big deal? What are they going to hang out together for 5 or 6 hours rather than 7? I mean, it didn't make sense to me. I didn't like it. Yeah,
I agree. Jeff, any thoughts on the 7-inning get doubleheader?
I think a doubleheader is outlived its norm anyway, so to speak. I mean, I don't think it's a good thing for baseball like it once was. I don't think people are interested in it. So for me, I'd have to say if you're going to have them, make them 9 innings. Don't change them or just don't have them at all. And I agree with you, Paul. If you're already going to be there, you're already there. What difference does it make? A couple minutes is not going to save anybody from COVID. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Paul, the expanded playoffs, I disliked. I think it took away from the regular season. I think it made it's almost like the old hockey. You can kind of coast and just get in and then get hot. I'm not a fan of doubling up on there. I know why they did it, to get some more revenue going. I hope they don't continue it, but they're going to.
Do you know that for sure? That they're going to?
They haven't announced it, but every time they've talked about it, it's the smile and we're looking into it. I can't see them not doing it going forward. It's too much money involved, and it gives them you could take some of those games and put them on streams, and it just opens up more avenues for Major League Baseball to bring in more money from different networks. So no, I think I'll guarantee it. I haven't heard it, but I guarantee they're going to do it, and I don't like it at all.
I mean, I don't like it in one respect, because what makes baseball unique is that a smaller percentage of the teams that play make it to the playoffs. Right. That makes it a prize, but at the same time, being a Met fan and knowing that with the expanded playoffs, it gives me a little bit more of a shot for my shitty team to get in.
Yeah.
I mean, in that respect, I'm like, yeah, all right. I mean,
I got you, but I got it. But it cheapens the regular season. I'm sorry. It just gets to a point where, how many teams are we going to get? It's like football. Football adding 2 more teams, it cheapens it.
Well, listen, you can't say nothing about football yet. We didn't even get there yet. Let's see what happens when they actually play with that season and extra teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'll add this much to it. It may cheapen it. I don't know. That's up to, the individual that's watching it. But being that, they're going to take away the DH, possibly the way they do interleague play, then if they're going to add 2 more teams, then why not throw them all in the same pool and, maybe do a little round robin tournament or something and revise the way that they do the playoffs. Seed these teams, put them all into one pool. 16 teams, 16 plays, 1, whatever, regardless of what league, what division you're in. Maybe at the end of the season, maybe you get the Yankees, Red Sox in there, or the Mets, Braves in the World Series. You may get better teams in the World Series. You can't tell me every year the 2 best teams in Major League Baseball are playing in the World Series. You don't really.
They did this year though.
Well, this year,
This year for sure. Yeah, for sure. I agree. This year it worked out that way. I agree.
I mean, but everybody knows they would have rather seen the Yankees play the Dodgers in the World Series.
Well, I mean, that's what baseball would want because it's 2 big markets. So yes, I agree with you on that. I'm sure not everybody. I'm sure Paul wouldn't like the Yankees, Dodgers, but
no, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, but yes,
like Tampa Bay versus the Dodgers. Did anybody on this side of the country even want to see that? You know,
nobody's watching Tampa. I
did. Series.
I watched bits and pieces. I was rooting for the Dodgers for two reasons. I wanted them to win. It's been a long time, and I hate Tampa. I hate Tampa Bay, so it was good for me on my end. But a good team, Tampa. No, you can't knock them. They no budget, and they keep churning out pitchers. Before we get too late in this, I want to get to the Mets, but I got to ask you real fast. I hate the way the game's played today. I do. There's no strategy. Nobody bunts anymore. Nobody steals bases. Nobody hit and runs. The strategy of baseball is long gone. It's one base at a time because you don't want to get thrown out. So the next guy can come up and hit a 3-run homer. I don't like the way the game's played today. I still love the game, but I don't like because there's no strategy. Your thoughts? Do you like the way today's game is played? You're an avid fan. Do you like it?
For the same reasons that you're saying, no, I don't. The hit and run, these kind of things are where you get guys who have different skill sets. And I think that what teams are trying to do is they're setting up a batting order where every second guy has the potential to hit the home run or maybe drive one into the gap. They don't think about having speed guys batting first, batting second, guys who can go from first to third. I agree. It's one of the things. I'm a traditionalist in that respect. That I want to see the game played in the dirt. I want to see guys dirty by the third inning because they're sliding, trying to catch that extra base. I don't see it. Hit and runs are gone. I mean, forget it. Who bunts anymore? I don't think anybody knows how to bunt.
Nope. Not even the pitchers.
No, and that's the worst thing because it's the only thing they really have to do in the National League, and they don't do it, So no. I mean, you know what? The long ball is sexy. It always has been, but it's gotten more sexy. It also comes with a lot of dollars. It comes with a lot of dollars in the stands and a lot of dollars in the player's pocket. So that's what it is. I mean, eventually, I don't know if we're going to live long enough to see this, but eventually, there's going to be a point where half of your team has the potential of hitting 30 home runs.
I would agree with that. And
I don't agree with that. You know why?
I agree with that.
That if a guy has the potential, the team has the potential, everybody on it to hit 30 home runs, that means the guy leading your team in RBIs may have 50, 55. And next to home runs, the greatest thing is watching a grand slam or a 3-run homer. And if everybody and their mother on the team could hit home runs, we'll never see that. But I hear you. The game is going to change, definitely, and we might not be here to see it and see what it evolves to. But it has always evolved from 100 years ago. It seems it's evolved. And
but it's suffering now, Jeff. Here's the problem: you're either hitting home runs or you're striking out. Everything's a strikeout. Guys are striking out 100 times a year, and everybody's hitting great hitters. Supposedly hitting 240.
I hear you, but once again, baseball does not care about you two.
I got it.
Nobody cares about you two. You know who they care about? They care about me. You know why they care about me? Because they want to add more fans. You're going to watch. You two guys are going to watch baseball no matter what the game does. They're after me. They want me in there. So what are they going to do? I couldn't care less about hitting runs, bunts, stealing bases, and dirty uniforms. I want to see some guy hit a 500-foot mammoth foot home run.
Yeah.
I want to see if he can put it into the parking lot. And that's what they're going after. They're going to go after the casual fan, the person that's not there every week or several times a week. That's who they want. Because they already got you guys. You guys are lifers. You ain't going anyplace. Especially you, Paul. You're really into baseball. It's a big thing for you. Tommy, football's more your game. We both know that. But you're a baseball guy too. But that's how I see it. They want me.
That's a good
guys like
That's
me.
a good point, Jeff. That's a very good point. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. Listen, I agree wholeheartedly with Jeff. Again, Hard Rocket Sports, 347-826-9993 and 4 on the radio side. You're watching Jeff Towinski, Tom Flory, and of course our good friend Paul Gill talking baseball, putting a bow on it. We're about 5-6 minutes from Tommy John, so I want to get to the Mets. It would not be the same with that fight if we couldn't get to how excited as a Met fan. And now listen, lots of good things have happened to the Mets over the years that haven't transitioned to World Series titles. But how excited are you right now with Cohen coming in? And what do you think is, you said it before, you don't know what that's going to translate this year because of the monies. I think he's the one owner right now who doesn't care about last year's gate sales, taxes. He wants to go out there and put the Mets on the map again. How excited are you for the season?
I am hugely excited. First off, anybody not named Wilpon who owns this team, I'm a fan of. Okay, first of all. Secondly, you get a guy like this coming in.
Would you say that if it was A-Rod? If A-Rod and J-Lo owned this team, would you be as excited?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Because the thing is the culture of the Mets ownership is what it is. It has been for 30, 40 years now. The culture has to change, and here comes a guy, Cohen. Now, I don't know a hell of a lot about him. I know kind of his background, where he made his money, how he made his money, how much money he has. I get that. And the thing is, and you guys are going to laugh at me about this, but I'm thinking that this could be the reincarnation of George. This could be a Steinbrenner kind of thing where he comes in, and you know what? George, he had his faults and he had his attributes, but he made some mistakes, but he also created winners. He went out, he got what it is that his people, he surrounded himself with good people. That's what I hope Cohen does. But he surrounded himself with good people. He took their advice. Sometimes it was right, sometimes it was wrong. But those teams that he had over those years were amazing. And that's what I'm hoping that Cohen goes into, and he puts what he needs to behind it, and he accepts his losses, and hopefully we have some wins. I am positive about it.
Yeah, listen, I think you should be, because I agree. I think even before, but Madoff really killed the Wilpons and their ambition to spend money and fix this team. But a lot of their problems was the decision making on some of the players. But let's talk about that real fast. So the first thing I say is the Mets have lived the last few years on there, have maybe the best staff in baseball. I think it's time to blow that staff up. I'm done with Mats. Joaquin Porcello, I think, are just no help. Syndergaard can't stay healthy, and so right now you're really dealing with DeGrom and who? You're going to bring Stroman back? Is he going to come back? Would you blow it up and go get Trevor Bauer? What would you do?
I think that they're gonna continue with Syndergaard. I think we're going to cross our fingers that we get a healthy season out of him. I think that one of the big splashes is that the Mets are going to go out and get one of the top 3 free agent pitchers, and I think they're going to trade for a pitcher as well. I think I don't think that Stroman is in the picture. Stroman never wanted to be here. He came here.
Want him back.
No, and the thing is, there are a bunch of places that Stroman can go. I also think that Stroman killed himself by opting out of the season.
Oh, absolutely.
When now he's going for a deal. Like, I think he's looking at a 2 or 3 year deal with somebody, 2 with an option, and he's going to have to prove himself again, But I can see them bringing in 2 serious pitchers, not Porcello and Waka, like we did last year.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the first move in their big move is probably going to be Springer. They do need a center fielder. And then you hope that McNeil returns to form. You hope that Alonso returns to form. And I also think they got to go get a catcher. So I think it's Springer and a catcher. Can they get Realmuto? I don't know. But I think that's their first 2 moves. But yeah, I got to be honest with you. I think they're going to make the splash on a pitcher.
Yeah. And real Muto, everything that I'm reading is that he wants to play anywhere but in New York.
Yeah, but that's the smokescreen sometimes, But I also read that the guy Salisbury said that he'll play for the money. Now, I get scared of guys like that who don't really want to come here, but will take the money. That usually is a bad thing. And I love Bauer, but I think him in New York with the social media stuff, I think he's a bad guy for that clubhouse. That's my opinion. Great pitcher, don't get me wrong, but I think that's the last guy they should be after. But I think he's looking to make a splash, Cohen, and make a difference. Bullpen, Paul. What do you do with the bullpen? Betances was a disaster. I'm not crazy about Diaz. Familia, where do you go with the bullpen? You leave Lugo in the bullpen?
Well, the unfortunate part of it is that we don't have a lot of moves with many of those guys. The one guy that I'd like to keep is Wilson. and I don't think it would cost much. I think he's been solid.
Mm-hmm.
Diaz was better. Of course, he was better under a situation where he didn't have any pressure. And that's what I think the problem with Diaz is. When Diaz is under pressure, when the team is contending, Diaz falls to pieces. But with the pen, I think that they need to grab a serious lefty, and frankly cross their fingers, because I don't think that they can trade any of these guys. The Familia deal was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. We're
Yeah.
going to be stuck with him forever. And I mean, it's just with the pen. You know what? The pen is going to be as good as our starting pitching is, and that's the thing. We have to fix it in the starters.
Yeah, again, you who knows when you're going to get Syndergaard back? DeGrom's DeGrom, but I think it's we're waiting. I don't say where the Mets are wasting that talent. We're getting to a point now where you need to start building this team for now. It's no more the future. It needs to be now.
Right. And the thing is, if we're going to commit to Conforto and give Conforto money, which frankly he deserves now, and continue to pay Cano, I mean, like continue to pay the deals that we have. We're going to have to bring in the 2 or 3 guys now that are going to put us over the top, at least get us into the playoffs in a legitimate season.
Well, see, here's my problem with Conforto. Here's a guy who in normal years has not been able to stay healthy, has not played well, had a good season this year in 60 games. So now are we buying Conforto? I like Conforto. He's not that next great player, but are we buying Conforto for 160 next year, or are we hoping that we buy him for next year?
I'm hoping that we can lock in Conforto for 3 to 4, maybe 5 years at a reasonable amount. I'm talking 14, 15 million a year. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, if you start pushing towards 20, Conforto is not a $20 million player. But
no.
And then, so and if we don't do it, then we spend the money somewhere else. And Steve Cohen might do that. That's where the George element comes in.
Yes.
That's what I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah, and I think you're going to, and again, I think at least the first year, I think he's going to blow it up. I don't think the free agent market is going to be is going to fly off, because teams don't know what they're going to get next year as far as a luxury tax. Nobody knows if there's going to be fans in the seats. Are we going to get a full season? So I think teams are going to be very reluctant to run out there and start signing, except Cohen. I think Cohen's throwing money all over the place, and he's going to put a team on the field. I think this guy thinks of this like Stratomatic baseball. He now owns a Stratomatic team, and he's going to put the best team out there because because not only is he the owner, but he's a huge fan.
Yeah.
So I think that's good for the Mets. Let's see what else I want to get to. Betances, should they bring back Stroman's out? Let's see. Boy, I had a couple more things I wanted to bring up. I did that. Yeah, Hard Rocket Sports, 347-826-9934 on the radio side. Oh, you know what? I want to talk about the playoffs real quick, but I want to go back before I forget. What I did like in the playoffs was not all this time in between games. They were playing 5 straight days, taking a couple days off, and then moving to the next series. I love the fact that the games were night, and it forced the teams to be careful of the pitchers they use, because you didn't have the off days to give guys a chance to get back. Did you like that in the playoffs? And I thought it added more strategy to the game.
I liked it, but the one thing about the playoffs that I thought was weird, where there were no day games on the weekends. Like, I mean, if I'm sitting on a Saturday or a Sunday and it's playoff time, I want to see a game at 1. I want to see a game at 4. That I thought was odd. I like the fact that they kind of played them in a row. But the thing is, in a 162 game season, when you're trying to space the pitcher out, are you hamstringing teams, saying, okay, your number 1 starter can start game 1, but if you want to start him game 5, you're starting him on 4 days rest. So all of a sudden, you're kind of changing like what the tradition is, where you have your number 1 pitch your first, your middle, and maybe your 7th game.
Right.
I don't know if you could do that anymore, but it was cool. I mean, the playoffs, I enjoyed the playoffs a lot. I really did.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hectic part of it. You played every day. You're not getting to play a game, day off, play 2 games a day off. You had to you're out there playing, and you couldn't space your pitches out because you couldn't put everybody in one game or go through a big piece of your bullpen because you had a day off the next day. You were playing every day, so I enjoyed that end of it. Let's go back to Dominic Smith. I think the DH gives the Mets such an advantage, but because they can keep Dominic Smith in playing. But based on this year, he's a chip. You don't have a lot of chips on the Mets. Do you use that chip to go get a pitcher, or do you upgrade shortstop, third base? And I got to ask you, I'm the Mets, and I signed the checks as Cohen. Do you eat the money and get rid of Cano?
I think you're gonna die with Cano. Frankly, I mean, he had a good season. He was productive.
Right.
We talked about it is, but I mean, we already committed to that, so that's that. But the thing is, from the beginning of the season, we all agreed that if Cano could be played sparingly, he could be productive and he could be useful. And I think they proved that this year that he could do that.
Yeah.
The thing is, that with the chips that we have, and some of them I'm going to be sad to see go. I can see Nimmo go. I can see Smith go. I can see Conforto go if they can agree on an extension. I mean, Jimenez is another one. Rosario is another one. Because the thing is, they could go with the Lindor, and if the Mets could possibly put together a deal that would send one of the shortstops, somebody else, and then a prospect or two, we could get Lindor playing shortstop for us, which, again, I'd be sad to see whoever went, but I would be really happy to see Lindor in the middle of my lineup. So,
listen, absolutely, 100%, guys. We're waiting on Tommy John. He hasn't popped up yet, so I'm holding Paul for a little bit longer, and I want to turn to a little bit of football in a minute. But thanks for tuning in. We hope that Tommy John shows up. He's been confirmed today, so hang in there if you've turned in to watch Tommy John. If you watch it, turn in to see Jeff. He's still here. He's up in the corner, looking sexy as ever. But we're back next Thursday night. No guests scheduled next week, so it's a lot of football. Don't forget, we still have our betting segment with Rafael Esparza coming up at 8:30. Our head odds maker over at mybookie.ag. Paul, all in all, did you enjoy the season because of the pandemic, or did you enjoy it from a baseball standpoint? To put the final bow on the 2020 baseball season, why did you enjoy it, and did you enjoy it?
I definitely enjoyed it. Absolutely, positively enjoyed it. I enjoyed it firstly because it was questionable whether or not we were going to have any season.
Right.
And that broke my heart. And then when I heard we were going to have a season, and I heard the sort of the parameters that were put on it, I was skeptical, but I said something is better than nothing. And at the end of the day, there was some really great baseball played this year. Again, I think the playoffs were phenomenal. I'm looking forward to spring training, and I'm hoping that these guys can go and do what they're supposed to do. I'm really happy with the season, though. I'm happy we had it. So,
and last for the bowl for the Mets. Was this? How much were you surprised by the lack of the Mets season? Are you chalking it up to the pandemic, or are you concerned that maybe there was a little bit of hype to this team because there were people picking them to be at top of the division, and obviously they didn't make it? What's your thought?
I think the people who were picking them for the top of the division were ignoring the fact that National League East was going to be super competitive. I'm not going to say it was great, but it was super competitive.
Oh, yeah. And, the Marlins were a good team. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to cry about it, but I lost half of my pitching staff before the season started. There were some good things that happened in the season. There was some bad. What the Mets did this year, I think there's a few things that were positives. Not enough though. And I don't think that what we did this year we can really build on with the personnel that we have. I think there has to be a few key changes. There's a lot of options out there, and now we have a Steve Cohen who may be able to open up options that were never available before. So, again, you know me, I'm the optimistic fan.
Yep.
I'm the optimistic Met fan. And I'm going to be optimistic and say that they're going to go out, make a change or two, and hopefully it'll be a better season. I don't see them as a contender for next year in any way, shape, or form. They're not there yet. They don't have the experience. They don't have the experience of the pressure of
Mhm.
being a real contender, not a media contender that says they're the New York Mets, so they're going to contend.
Yeah.
That was this year. I think they're a year or two away.
Mhm.
Again, I want to see the bright signs from this year expand and get better. And I want to see a couple of additions. I want to see people be healthy.
Mhm.
I want to see another year of I mean, the manager. I mean, this poor guy, he came into this. He's a
Mhm.
rookie manager. We cannot judge him no matter what he did. We
Nope.
can't.
I agree.
It's impossible.
I agree.
So, next year is his rookie managing season as far as I'm concerned, and I got my fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and we're putting the bow on the 2020 baseball season. Listen, I'll say this about the Mets: that's a tough division. I mean, the Nationals, were World Series champions the year before. They faded. I thought the Marlins were a better team this year. The Braves are a tough team, and the Phillies are a good team managed by a good guy there, and Joe Girardi. That's a tough division,
Yeah.
and you're right. I think the Mets are a few players away, and a year or two from being a contender. But either way, that's a tough division. So and a good division to watch. If you're a fan of baseball, the NL East is a good division.
It is. It is.
Before we let you go, Paul, I still don't have Tommy John, guys, but I do want to get you on because I get beat up by our friend Jeff, the Jet fan, about the Giants. So I need you to give tell Jeff why the Giants aren't as bad as the record. Are you a little more optimistic about the Giants based on what you've seen?
First of all,
Oh boy,
I
here we
kept
go.
quiet during the
Here we go.
baseball segment, but now I'm going to start voicing my opinion. Paul, your fucking people play baseball; they don't play football, right? You guys don't know anything about football. All right, that's one thing. Second of all, the Giants have just stumbled and fell off the side of the mountain, dude. That's all there is to it. The problem with the Giants is not so much that they suck. It's the problem of the fans to not turn around and say, yes, they do suck. They need to do this or do that. You're just willing to accept it. That's what I don't understand. You're willing to. Dave Gettleman, that kid, I wouldn't let that fucking guy make arrangements for a Boy Scout fucking movie night.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go.
Okay, you overpick Danny Jones. Saquon Barkley gets hurt every time you turn around. He comes off the fucking injured list to go back on it, and then they suck. Golden Tate is forget it. He's done now. He's finished. Please,
Are you done?
Defend, bail yourself
Is he
out.
done? Are you done?
I'm
Are you
waiting
done
to.
yet?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. You know what? All right. You both know since we're kids.
Keep going because I'm going to Paul. I'm going to distract you while you say that. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. My marker for a successful football season is that the Giants are at least one game better than the Jets, and they are. So you know what? Fuck you. Number one. But when it comes to the Giants, oh, look at you. Now you're teasing me. That's
Don't let him
porn.
distract
You
you.
can't do
Don't let him distract you.
What is that?
Don't let him distract you.
But I'll tell you what, Giants, Danny Jones, this thing with the turnovers, man, it has to end. I mean, like that is to me, it's the Achilles heel. It's like, I think the guy's got enough skill. I think like every other quarterback in the NFL, you can be the greatest quarterback at some aspect of your game, but if the team isn't built around you, like the Jets have always failed at, how they failed at building their team around the quarterback that they had at the time. Right now, the Giants are failing.
They're failing now.
They are.
Fucking Sam Donald.
Exactly. And that is the problem. You got a quarterback that has certain skills, but he has certain weaknesses. So what do? You protect the weaknesses. It's what they did when Sims came in. They gave him what he needed. I mean, it is the absolute epitome of the history of Brady. Brady had everything he needed. He had every tool. He had every outlet. He had all the protection he needed. Every weak spot that he had was protected. And the Jets and the Giants aren't doing that right now. And that's why we're 0-7 and 1-6.
Yes, but here's the thing,
that's the story.
yeah, you have to accept 0-7 as the Jets simply so that we could get rid of fucking Adam Gase. The Jets are not part of this equation at all whatsoever until they get rid of Adam Gase. Adam Gase is a cancer, and he cannot win. He does not know what the fuck he's doing. He's overhyped, always was. They played him in their own division and know what he was about, and they still hired him as a coach. I don't understand it. He's got to go.
Well,
Here's what I'm looking at, Paul. I agree, and by the way, Eric Brady, I agree with you. I have no problem with the Mets going out to buying whatever they need to make this team successful. I'll just say this: the best run of the Yankees was when they actually built it out of the minor leagues and then added key veterans to that thing. They won from 96 through 2009 based on the core four and even the guys who weren't big name guys like that. So I agree with you, Cohen. Go spend the money, but fix the minor leagues and shore it up from there. But Jeff, again, guys, here's what I look at with the Giants. They're better coached. This is a team that doesn't make a lot of bad mistakes. Again, quarterback notwithstanding, I get that. I remember, Paul, from 2004 to 2007, people calling for Eli's head because he made mistakes like this. And then all of a sudden he goes on a great run, and now all of a sudden he's there. So I want to be patient with Daniel Jones. I'm sorry, I do. I think the kid's got something.
Yeah.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
He has the ability to turn the ball over faster than Superman. You got to be kidding me.
Listen, I understand that, and it's frustrating as a fan.
And you still want to keep him. That's the thing.
I do. I absolutely do. I think. Listen, for what? Again, and when you want to get rid of Eli, and I said to you every time, for what? Who are you going to get right now that's better than Daniel Jones that you could put out there to make the Giants better long term?
This is a team. Your beloved New York Giants
are going
to finish in the top 5. That doesn't mean anything. That's North Carolina. That's not New York Giants.
All right, but according to the four trophies, you don't recognize them. Yours is made of wood.
Whatever.
Your trophy's made of wood.
Whatever. Okay, you're going to have a top 5 draft pick, and you're going to waste it. Probably waste it on a punter or something stupid like that, or a fucking safety. Okay.
But listen, there's no guarantee that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the next coming of Peyton Manning or John Elway. So I'm happy with
He's
the
a
guy.
lot closer than any quarterback that plays in New York right now, and you know.
I don't know that. You don't know that.
I know that. And you're going to
like
tell me that
Daniel
Jones is.
I'm not.
Please, no. Come here. Take them off. Let me look in your eyes. Come on. Get closer. Tell me that you think fucking. Tell me you think Daniel Jones is the answer. Come on.
Absolutely, he's the answer.
Oh, you're fucked up. Come on, stop.
I'm sorry. I just let's put it this way. I like the kid. I'm not ready to give up on him. Again, I'm just not ready. I think
you're also not willing to give up on a general manager that's helped you win 7 games.
I said it to you the other day. If they go the rest of the season and they don't, and they're no better, and I'm saying there's no problem. I'm saying they're ready to move on from it. I'd have no problem with it. I wouldn't have no problem them bringing it back either. I think he's done some good moves. Blake Martinez has been great this year. Bradbury's been great this year. Judge has been the real deal.
And what's their record?
Again, I'm not telling you wrong. But it's not all about record.
What is
Paul,
their
you
record?
watch the games. You watch the Giants.
What is their record? You're still not answering the question. You're skirting the question. What's their record?
1-6, 1-7,
1-7, and didn't fucking Bill Parcells himself, your Messiah, say you are what you are. You are what your record is. You're a 1-7 football team. That's it.
Paul, you're a Giant fan. Are you at least? Do you see a better team in front of you right now than you've seen in the past? I got to ask the question.
Yeah, Paul, come see the light. Till you see it. It's there. It's not where the Giants are now.
I missed that.
The question was,
I missed that question, but all I got to say is, oh, you break up on me again. I'm sorry.
Yes, what I asked you was, when you watch this team this year, do you at least see the foundation of something better than you've watched in the past?
Somewhat. I mean, I think that there's. I honestly, I would have liked to see Eli still be on this team.
Oh my God!
I would have liked to see him. I would have liked to see him. I would have liked to see him still mentor, get another year, like so many other great quarterbacks had 2 years of some veteran quarterback mentoring them. And look, I don't care who the friggin' quarterback is. If you don't have any tools to pass to, if your star running back goes down in the first friggin' game of the season and you can't do the fucking dump pass that gets you 8 yards a
First of all, he's not even throwing the
I mean,
ball.
what are you going to do? I
I
don't care who it is. If you don't have tools, if you
It's a shame. It's a fucking shame. Fucking Giants fans. Fucking shame.
See what you mean with Paul?
0-7. 0-7.
You see, and
0-7.
he's a typical Jeff fan. Oh, my
0-7.
team, I know my team sucks.
0-7.
I know my team sucks.
0.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I don't give a fuck. You know why? Because now they get rid of. That's good. You want me to show you a fucking ring? I can
No,
show
we
you.
don't want to see yours. No,
0.
thank you. No.
All right. First of all, they get rid of Adam Gase. Okay, Sam Darnold hasn't hit 200 yards. I think all fucking season. He's another one that gets hurt every time you turn around. The guy's made of fucking glass. Get rid of him. It's time to go, man. Move on.
Listen, we'll see. Listen, Paul, I love you. I thank you so much. I want you to come on more often. You're welcome anytime. And obviously, when more things happen with the Mets, maybe a little hot stove will get you back on and talk a little more baseball during the winter. And hopefully, we'll see you pretty soon. Holidays coming up.
Notice he said when things start to happen for the Mets, not when things start to happen for the Giants. So you'll never have to come on and talk football over here. All right.
He's such a dick.
So you better hope the Mets start doing something.
Such a dick.
Hey, listen, I may be the only guy here on the page here and on this screen that actually cares if their team.
You are such. You know what? I know for sure the Giants are going to do something before the Jets.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about it, brother. Absolutely. Listen, hopefully we'll see you soon. We got a yearly jam coming up in a month or so. So let's start talking about that. And of course, we'll have you back soon.
Is John going to allow all of us in the studio at once?
Well, you don't have a choice.
Paul, what'd you say? You have a choice?
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, he don't have a choice. He's got to let us in. You can use the thermostats, whatever you want to use, but thermometers. But we'll be back this year. But Paul, listen, brother, I love you. Thank you for coming on, and we'll see you soon.
He froze. But what happened? A third party comes on. That's it. He's gone.
Yeah, I think we lost him. We lost Paul.
Did Tommy John come on?
No, he didn't show up so far. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen him. So listen, what nothing I can do. I sent them out the email. I got a confirmation, and I guess Tommy's maybe he's busy. Something changed. We'll see what happens. But
answering you now.
I don't think so. I have nothing new on I just checked my email. There's nothing there.
All right. So what do you want to talk about tonight?
Eric Brady says Gase is the De Blasio of football. Yeah,
Eric is Eric Brady.
Eric, I love you. I think you're great. Absolutely, you're right. But listen, be careful. De Blasio is Jeff's guy. That's
I'm asking the question: who is Eric Brady?
I don't know who Eric Brady is. Whoever he is, he's a smart guy. I don't really
give a fuck about Eric Brady.
I like Eric Brady. He got it right. But Eric, be careful. That's Jeff's guy. De Blasio.
Listen, to all the people saying about De Blasio, let me explain something to you.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Okay. The man is a fucking total jerk off.
Yeah.
He was running for mayor. He promised me the biggest raise out of anybody running for mayor. I work for the city. I don't go to work so that I could say I have the coolest mayor. I go to work for the guy that says he'll give me the most money, just like most normal people. So that's why he got my vote. Is he a fucking idiot? Dude, he shouldn't even be allowed to work in a circus, this jerk off. He really shouldn't. He's a fucking turd burglar. He's a fucking moron.
Lou Pica said, from what I hear, Jeff voted for De Blasio twice. He probably has a crush on Hillary Clinton. That's what he said. That's not me.
Listen, that's fine. For Lou Pica, get the fuck out of here.
Lou, you got under his skin. Lou, you got him, Lou.
No, not at all. Get out. I don't even know Lou Pica.
Lou's the best. Yes, Eric. I love I'm looking forward to baseball. I'm looking forward to seeing what Steve Cohen does for the Mets. Listen, when the New York teams do well, even if they're the Mets and the Jets, it's good for New York. It's good for sports. It just is. That's just the way it goes. Again, Hard Rocket Sports, guys, 347-826-9934 on the radio side. You're watching Jeff Tominski, Tom Floria, and everybody here at the Hard Rocket Sports Show on a Thursday night, talking sports, talking music. Not much music to talk about, Jeff. I went through Blabbermouth and all the different sites, and there was just nothing new to talk about music-wise.
No, actually, I got something for you to talk about music.
Go ahead, throw it out.
I don't know if you've seen it. Charlie Benanti The guy from I think it was Mastodon, William Duvall from Alice in Chains, and another band recorded a Soundgarden song, Rusty Cage. And it was actually pretty good. It was a pretty good version. It sounded really good. Yeah. I don't know if you caught it.
I did. I saw it on Blabbermouth, and I didn't click on it. I try to catch a lot of that stuff because I kind of like when you get guys together and they record a song and they don't try to make a band out of it. They kind of do some of that stuff for charity. They do some of that stuff there. There was one that was, I think it was Glenn Hughes, Tony Iommi, Nico McBrain, and somebody else. And they did a couple songs. And I thought that was a really, they weren't talking about being a band. They just did some stuff. I kind of like that. I don't like the band thing when they try to put a band together, but record a song, play a song or two, I think it's pretty cool.
It depends on who it is. Like when
of course.
Slave came around for a while, I liked them. I didn't like Rage Against the Machine, and Audio Slave to me was completely different than anything that Cornell was doing. So I liked it when it was out, but I do hear you. Some of these combinations are like, wow, how did these guys even know one another, much less get together to play?
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
I agree.
This particular one with William Duvall, he did an excellent job on vocals. Really good. But Charlie Benanti's been playing with just about everybody. Yeah,
we have a connection to Charlie Benanti, and I've been kind of reluctant to use it.
Why?
Well, I put it out there, and I was told when he had something to put on that he would come on through a mutual friend of ours. We both know the guy, and I sent out a message, and then a little while long because he was putting out Charlie Benanti has like a coffee company or something. There's like some sort of a coffee thing, and then he was putting out some sort of music, and I sent out a message, and I didn't get a return
from Charlie Benanti.
No, from our mutual friend.
Oh, well, so I don't know who it is. So
you do. I'll tell you off the air. I don't. Casey's listening. But we'll see. But Patty, I agree with stay with Daniel Jones. If you're the Giants, huh?
Then I think I might know who it is.
He's been on the show before one time.
Then I don't know who it is.
Yeah, he's been on the show one time. He works for the city. Same organization that your brother used to work for.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about now.
Okay, yeah. I don't want to say it out loud. So, but,
I highly doubt he's listening.
Yeah, I agree. But maybe somebody, you never know. But we'll leave it alone.
I hear you.
Let's, you know what? Well, Jeff, while we're waiting for now, we have Raphael at 8:30. Guys, hang in there. Raphael Esparza, the head odds maker over at mybookie.ag, will be on with us about 8:30. I pushed him a little later because Tommy John was going to be on.
But we'll talk. Tommy John's supposed to be on
7:45.
Really?
Yeah, and now I know he's West Coast. He's in Arizona, so maybe he's counting ballots out there. Maybe he's part of like the ballot counting crew.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Just think, speaking of counting ballots, Raphael, there's somebody that put a big sum of money on the fucking election somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
There is. And that bet is hanging in the balance right
now. Yeah. If you're sitting out there right now and you got money on one of these guys, you're sweating it out, right? Yeah.
Anytime that you may see the words special report come up on the screen, I'll be staining your fucking underwears.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I stayed up till I dozed off about 12 or 1 for about an hour, and I was up till 4:30 watching the election.
Wow.
Yeah, I stayed up. I stayed up as much as I could to watch it. So I saw the bets go up. I watched the stock market, the Chinese market, the whole bit. But Jeff, go ahead.
No, go. There was one person that I had to mute on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only because I just couldn't take listen. I couldn't.
I think I know who it is. I know who it is.
What a fucking dick.
Yeah.
What a dick. He wouldn't stop.
Did he once play in the Hard Rocket Sports Band?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't stop.
Yes, I agree. Listen, I like the guy and all, and I like his politics. But yes, I know exactly what you mean. A little slowdown is fine. I got you.
Yeah, and then listen, real quick. There's a couple people that are like, I'm a wreck. I can't handle this. It's over. Then all of a sudden, like, to me, all of the fucking Trump fans are all like, that's it. It's over. It's over. He lost. All of the people that I know that were Biden fans, oh my God, Trump could still come back and win this. It's he's going to win. There's no way that Biden wins it. It's like, you know what? Who gives a fuck at this point in time? Right now, that half the world is laughing at us.
Yeah.
Can't even fucking.
I agree with that. No, listen, I agree with it. And all I said was I am bothered by it because I want Trump to win. I think he's better for the country than Biden will be, and that's fine. I am not hanging off the edge of the buildings for it. I want it to be fair. I want them to do it right. I don't like the stuff that's going on with it. But at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do about it. So I will just keep doing what I do every day. Hopefully, do the show every week. And whoever's president come January 21st, I will still get up and go to work every day. It's but I have not abandoned. I think at this point, it's almost anybody's game at this moment.
Of course, it's almost anybody's game because they haven't even, listen, how come on election night, they can get all of the tallies from every state. By the time you wake up the next day, you know who won. But now this is how many days later, all of this early voting, nobody thought to count this shit as it was happening. I'm not a smart guy, but I know if I was going to get 10 million fucking ballots, I'd be like, okay, they came in today. Start counting. Let's keep a tally of this shit.
Listen, Jeff. And again, I wanted to bring it a little bit with Tommy John, but listen, I'm watching it 10:30 at night, and all the signs point to Trump. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing, well, they're going to stop counting in Georgia. They're going to stop counting in Pennsylvania. They're going to stop counting here. And I'm going, but 10:30 at night on a presidential election, why wouldn't you have a second crew coming or a third crew, whatever? Okay. And then I go to bed about 4:30, and Trump's up in Wisconsin, 100,000 votes, whatever it is. Same thing in Michigan. And I get up in the morning, and he's down because 240,000 ballots came in overnight, literally all for Biden. I'm a reasonable human being, and you can explain a lot to me. I don't understand how 240,000 ballots appear overnight, and they're all for one. I mean, not even like 3 for Trump. Or Kanye got 2 votes, Dr. Seuss got a couple, and Trump got 1. I mean, 240,000 ballots show up, change the entire election, and they're all for one guy. I mean, Jeff, if you were going to do that, you'd say, guys, give me 250,000 ballots. I'm going to give Trump 10,000 just so they don't pay attention. I mean,
if they gave Trump,
Matty Sozio,
if they gave Trump 10, 20, 30 votes, or 10,000, 20,000, 150,000 votes, somebody's going to turn around and say, oh, this isn't right. This isn't right. But yeah, you're 100% right. 200,000 votes come in and they're all for one person. Something's not right.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that I don't understand.
Good.
I don't know if they're lying or bullshitting with the election. We will never know anyway.
No, we're never going to know.
And maybe our kids or our grandkids may know one day. That's possible.
It's possible.
Okay? But let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it feasible to think that they're fixing this election to the point where they're going to say, okay, get those extra 200,000 votes in the fucking armored car out on the street and we'll slip them in and nobody will notice? Do they really think that's what's happening? And do they really think that we're that fucking stupid? Because if so, that's incredible. That's absolutely fucking incredible.
You know what, Jeff? I don't know. That's the thing. Here's the thing I say. Again, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. I'm really not. I don't believe in a lot of that kind of stuff. But when stuff like the 200,000 ballots shows up, when in Pennsylvania they don't let anybody from the Republican side watch the ballots, then they go to court. The judge says you got to let them watch, and then they still won't let them watch. Something bothers me about that. If it's when you hear, well, they gave them the wrong pens, they told them to use Sharpies aren't allowed. Like there's a lot of little stuff. If there's a couple of little things, you go, okay, you let it go. But when you won't be transparent, Fox, I like Fox. I'm watching 10:30 at night. Fox comes up and says Joe Biden's going to win in Arizona. We're announcing it now, and I'm looking. I'm going, there's still 600,000 ballots to count. How well, we know the path. Now all of a sudden, 2 days later, it went from a huge Biden lead to it shrunk, and it shrunk down to like 50,000, and there's still a couple 100,000 ballots to get to. To me, I'm kind of going, there's a lot of funny stuff here. Do I think we're ever going to get to the truth? Absolutely not. We're never going to get to the truth because the government doesn't want you to get to the truth. They don't want you to think that there was corruption. They don't want you to know that there was corruption or there wasn't. They would rather you be guessing at it than actually know one way or the other.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Remember earlier today, I said I have a conspiracy theory.
Yes, you never. Which, by the way, you never.
Well,
Yeah,
we never got a chance, but let's. Could we real quick,
sure. We got 11 minutes before we get to Raphael. You can talk about whatever you want.
This is just crazy thinking. But you know what? With today's world and the way the government does things, and everything else, you just never know.
Absolutely.
Is it possible?
Yeah.
That Trump, one, does not want to be president? Okay, now hear it all out before you
Go
say
ahead. I won't say a word. Go ahead.
it's probably kind of retarded and crazy, but what not? Why we got nothing else? Is it possible that right now at this point in time he was just like, you know what, fuck it, I really don't want to be president no more. I'm done with this shit. They've been busting my balls for fucking years. I'm just tired of it. And they're like, but we need you to run. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
But this is what we'll do. You'll lose the election. You'll put up a front like you wanted to win the election. We'll go through some bullshit process. We're going to give it to Joe because he's only going to stay there for a fucking year or so anyway. And then the chick is going to take over. And then, you got enough money. You'll be fine. It doesn't matter. You're going to get more money anyway. Okay. Joe, they'll just put him out someplace so his brain could finish turning to oatmeal. It really doesn't matter what happens to him.
True.
He's going to be in charge, Kamala Harris, and fuck everything up. We'll let her do whatever she's going to do because if it's a republic, if most of the congressmen and senators are Republican, they're going to bust her balls like the Democrats did to Trump anyway.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like a push. They won last hand, we win this hand. And it doesn't matter because nothing's going to get done because they're going to be like, oh, you think we're going to work with you, right? Really?
Well, that's the one good thing. Yeah, finish up, Harry.
As long as the people don't A, start a civil war, or B, the unrest happens, which it hasn't really yet. A couple minor protests here and there. But if everything transitions smoothly, they're just going to continue to be like, well, you know what? There's nothing that Donnie could do. He lost the election. Joe, congratulations, you're the president. And he's going to be like, hey, I get pudding. And that's it. You know what I mean?
Yellow night at the home.
For a few years, yeah. And then they're just going to take him home and put him in a rocking chair out on the back porch.
Yeah, listen, I think Trump wanted to be president. I mean, listen, if you watch the end of it, he was doing five rallies a day the last few days. I believe he really wanted to be president.
Farewell tour.
Listen, it's a fun theory. I have to be honest with you. Now, I'm not sure I buy into it, but it's a fun theory, and it's anything's possible. Listen, I think Trump really got off on being president. I think he did a good job. I think what you saw, I think one thing, this election proved one thing. One, polls don't work. That's the first thing. Sorry, a couple things. Second thing it proved was that Trump's not racist, and here's why. He got more Latino and African American votes than probably any Republican of all time. I can't even. I didn't see the numbers yet, but he had less white guys voting for him than the last time he ran, and he got a huge Latino and African American vote. So I think
and who said this?
Oh, it's been reported everywhere. It's all the exit numbers coming. Yeah, all the exit polls and
just like when the polls said that Biden was winning by 10 points or whatever.
Well, again, those is
it really something you could believe? Yes or no?
Well, again, if somebody walks out and says I just voted for Trump, you have to believe it. The problem with the polls beforehand, they target certain areas, so it's a little different. Plus, you kind of know when somebody goes to vote. They have the name, if you go search in the computer, you can find out that you voted and who you voted for. It shows the whole thing. It's there. The information there.
I hear you.
Yeah, so I think it's a lot more. It's a lot more. And listen, and just in Florida alone, he won Florida because of the Latin vote in Miami. He didn't win more, but Biden got more votes, but a lot less than Hillary got. So again, I just think that it proves that Trump is not. And here's the other thing: I haven't heard a word about COVID for 3 days. I haven't heard that we're all going to die next week. I haven't heard anything about COVID anywhere.
Because one, COVID is a bullshit story.
November 4th.
That's one thing. All right, but yeah, you still got to wear a mask when you go in the store.
I agree with you because nobody said it. Because we've been so well trained for 6 months that until they come out and say, "Oh, by the way, you don't have to wear that mask anymore." We're waiting for that day. It's going to happen. But right now, COVID. They scared all the old people. They scared a whole bunch of people into thinking, Jesus Christ, we got to get rid of Trump because Joe Biden's got the answer. Nobody's got the answer. Sorry.
But I just real quick looked on my news,
Yeah.
on iPhone news, and 17 U.S. states report record increase in COVID-19 cases. So it's still there. It's just that this is the biggest news story of the fucking day. What's amazing is that 1, 2, 3, 4 states, 5 states, Trump has not gotten an electoral vote in the last 2 days, and fucking Biden is 6 votes away. And nobody's moved.
Again, it's just gonna play out for a long time. Whether they officially announce Biden, I think that Biden's going to get it. It's going to happen over the weekend because it'll be less a news story. You ever watch it in the government will always drop a news story on a Friday afternoon at 4:00 because nobody's paying attention.
Yeah, well, there you go. I don't pay attention to that shit.
Right. So to me, it's going to happen, and then this will go through the courts. They're going to recount a whole bunch of places, and I don't think it's ever going to change. I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful that Trump will. I think they'll find a way to find more votes in Arizona, and then he holds on in Pennsylvania and Georgia and North Carolina, and he wins the election. It's possible. I think at this point, it's anybody's ball game. But I think at the end of the day, if Biden wins or Trump wins, that's how it's going to end. It'll just go through a bunch of series of court cases, and Trump will go kicking and screaming.
Well, listen, here's another thing too, and then I got to take my usual pit stop before Raphael comes on.
No problem.
It seems as though that a lot of people, the same people that just a couple weeks ago were saying that Biden is going to ruin the country. This is bad. This isn't good. This, that, and the other thing. Are now the people that are like, well, it is what it is. And are we going to have to, wish whoever's president, the new president, we're going to have to wish him the best and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So it's almost like people seem like they're accepted to the point where like the fight isn't there anymore. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
Again, what do you do at this point, Jeff? If you're me, I said it to you before the election. I'm rooting for Trump. I hope Biden doesn't win. I hope he falls and breaks a hip. But if he's elected president, I'm going to root for him. Now, I'm not happy with the situation, but sitting in my house in Monroe, New Jersey, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm watching. I'm hopeful. Now, I'll tell you this. If it goes through the process and there's still a lot of open-ended stuff and the government just makes it go away, I got to be honest. If they're holding rallies, I'll go and voice my opinion that I don't like the way this election was run. You forced it to be it was forced on us that for all this mail-in balloting, and all these states that wanted it just couldn't handle it. And I think that's the shame of it.
Listen, I hear you and everything, and that's your right to do what you got to do, and that's understandable. But you know what? Where do you see how fast? If that's the case, where do you see how fast COVID comes back then?
Oh, listen, 100%. You'll see it. Listen, go do your pit stop.
Let me go go into the other room real quick, dunk in there real quick, and I'll be right back.
Go ahead. Hard Rocket Sports, 347-826-9934 on the radio side. Also simulcast, of course, on through our Facebook and YouTube pages every Thursday night, 7 to 10. And, guys, we got a lot still to get to. And, of course, with whether it's the presidential race or the Heisman race, there's one place to go and drop a few bucks and try to win a few dollars, and that's mybookie.ag. And to that end, we got our good friend and our third wheel on the show, Mr. Rafael Esparza, back this week. Rafael, what's up, brother?
What's going on? How are you?
It's good. Tired. It's been a long week. It's a crazy week. What's your quick thought on? We're trying to stay away from politics tonight, but we'll let it creep in a little bit tonight because I got a couple questions on the betting on it. What's your take on how good or bad this was run this year?
A little bit shocking. I mean, I didn't think we would see some states flip. I think if you're a Republican or a Trump supporter, I think you just have to look at one state and one state only, and that's Arizona. If you would have told me Arizona was going to be red, blue, that's been red for all I can remember, I think that was more shocking. And maybe I've talked to numerous round of people in Arizona, especially in the Phoenix area, and they said the ads that were going, they were pretty much telling the voters that, hey, this guy dissed our own Senator McCain. This guy dissed our former own McCain, and now so maybe a little karma bit him a little bit in the state of Arizona. But I'm a little bit shocked on how big the outcome was on both sides. I mean, record votes all over from both sides, so that was a little bit shocking. But I think just some of what I've seen coming in, money wise, was just through the roof. We were juggling anywhere between 300 to 400 million in this election, and you figure the Super Bowl in Vegas usually does about 150 million. Wow. So. Wow. If you don't think people were betting on their senator or Senate races or the House races, or I mean, we had states now that legalized marijuana. We had 3 states now voted yes for sports betting. So it was just a busy day, and I'm a little bit still kind of shocked on the outcome. I really thought whoever won Florida and North Carolina was going to win it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, still might be. Still may happen that way.
But what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, it doesn't look like that. But like I said, I think if everything goes what I think it's going to go, we're going to look at one state, and that's Arizona. That's the one state I think that we're going to look at and say, wow, if one state.
Course. Yeah, of course. I think it changed the whole election.
Yeah, I mean, and I would have never thought being such a red state, especially with Sedona being there. I mean, people always say Phoenix is always going to Phoenix area is always going to be blue, but there's a lot of big other Sedona's always been red. It was a big red state, but Phoenix getting so much, maybe because California moved there.
I was just going to tell you, my sources have told me, and I got a few buddies that live out that way, that there was a lot of transplanted people from California and some other places that they think have shifted it over the last 4 or 5 years. Don't forget, he dissed McCain, but he actually won it with McCain alive the last time. So
yeah, but he never said that he didn't like people who got captured or.
No, that was when McCain was still alive, because McCain dissed his.
He was already president.
No. He was running for it at the time. He was running for that one.
He was already president when he said that.
I think he was. I think he was running for it.
No, I think that was a tipping point in how mistreated the whole McCain family, not just.
Oh, absolutely, and yeah, Meghan McCain's very vocal on how much she hates him.
And I would not be shocked if her daughter runs in 4 years.
Let's see. Here's one thing. The one thing that sports betting has gotten huge. I mean, all the networks during the games are obviously now playing into it, and they have all these different betting apps. Fox has one, but I'm watching Fox News during the election. I'm flipping, but I'm watching them. And Britt Hume, one of their older guys, is actually talking about the line in Vegas and how it's moving during the election and how it jumped. I think to some point Trump went from way down to way up, and then it kind of settled back down again. Where did you see the numbers go? Was there a big increase or a lot of money coming into Trump in the middle of this whole thing?
When we knew Florida was going to be blue, which Florida, I mean, we thought Florida could be blue, but once the dominant of red came in on Florida, that's when Trump bet all the way up to minus $6. Right. I mean, I left my computer screen, and he just got announced that Florida and Ohio was his, and pretty much everyone thought, okay, we have 4 more years going in. So I logged off, jumped on my laptop, laid in bed to try to get some kind of rest, thinking it was pretty much over. I mean, once they announced Ohio and Florida was in, but let's see, I think 11:30 my time is when Fox, of all newscasts, that said that Arizona is going blue. Fox was the first one.
Absolutely. I was watching when it happened. I was excited. Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest news, and no one's really talking about it, is Fox is the first one to come out and say, hey, Arizona's going blue. And that's when the shit hit the fan. I told people, this is when Fox announced that Arizona was going blue. It's like the NFL saying Tom Brady is not playing, but the sports books don't know, but the public knows, because everyone was jumping. Everyone was taking Biden. The money was just flowing in after Fox announces that Arizona is going blue. And then so it went from minus $6 until Trump minus $2. Then I woke up. I remember I fell asleep for like a good 3 hours, set the alarm because me and my other odds maker were going back and forth, taking short breaks and all that. And then I wake up, and it's minus 120 because it was a pick 'em pretty much.
Yeah. Well, it was. Listen, it was an interesting night, and it ain't over yet. And now they're questioning Arizona. Is it officially done? We'll see. We got days. It'll work itself out, and there's not much we can all do about it. But keep an eye on it. Let's talk about another race. I want to talk about the Heisman race a little bit. How much is COVID hurt Trevor Lawrence's chances at a Heisman? I see Mac Jones has kind of creeped up to top. Justin Fields is going to get some love. Trevor Lawrence still got a shot to take a Heisman, and where's that at right now, money wise?
I think, he does have a shot because I think the voters are going to look at it as like he just has an injury or something, and not like he's just out for like academics or something like a suspension. I think they're just going to approach it like he does have an injury. But it wouldn't shock me that Mac Jones, let's say Jones is playing Kansas this week. Me and you could probably throw 3 touchdowns against Kansas's secondary. Justin Fields. But if you're Trevor Lawrence, what has the Heisman Trophy winner done in the NFL? Nothing.
So
if you're Trevor Lawrence, please, again, I don't want it. Hey, take someone else. I don't want the Heisman. So I don't think the Heisman is like it was before, back in the 80s and even early 90s, where the Heisman was almost a for sure number 1 draft pick or for sure Hall of Fame or stuff like that. It's not like it used to be. So if you're Trevor Lawrence, do you really care about the Heisman? I think you rather care about another national championship and maybe go number 1. Because if you're, let's say, Justin Fields, when's the last time Ohio State quarterback really did well in the NFL? Haskins is Washington's trying to get rid of Haskins. I mean, there's a wasted talent. If I ever saw one. So I think it's Mac Jones. Everyone's talking about Justin Fields. Mac Jones is going to put up some big numbers for Alabama.
I agree, but I tell you the truth. The kid I like is Etienne from Clemson. I think that kid it might be the best player in college football.
It all depends on how long Trevor Lawrence sits. If he only sits 2 games and he comes back, then I think he takes away from Etienne. But let's say Trevor Lawrence is out 3 games or even more, then I would not be shocked if Etienne, which is 40-1 last time I checked on Etienne, is to win the Heisman. So they usually don't give running backs that much. I mean, even Kyle Trask from Florida, let's say if he has a big game against Georgia's defense on Saturday, I think he gets more love.
No, listen, good. Absolutely. Again, Rafael Esparza, Tom Fleury, Jeff Nowinski, going over a little bit of the other side of sports and maybe the bigger side and how we bet and all that. Hey, this is something that affects Jeff. And what's your thought on Trevor Lawrence not coming out this year because he's going to get because he could be drafted by the Jets or another bad team? And here's my take. What's the difference? Maybe next year you're going to get another 0-16 team or 1-15 team, and you take a chance of going back to college and getting hurt. Is there any thought in your head that Trevor Lawrence may not come out just because the Jets have the number 1 pick in the draft next year?
I don't think so, because let's say if it's Jacksonville, I mean, their organization's even worse, I think, than the Jets at some point. Granted, they were really good a couple years ago, but their track record is not as well as normally. But if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I would probably want to go to the Jets. You got the New York market, so you're going to get the media, you're going to get the money from endorsements there. So it's not like you're going to Buffalo, no disrespect to Buffalo, or you're going to Jacksonville or lower markets. Key, you're still playing in the New York market.
I agree, Jeff. You're a Vet fan. What's your thoughts on all of that?
It's hard to say. I mean, I agree with everything that everybody said. Why do you want to take a chance of going back for your senior year, getting hurt, and ruining an NFL career? At least if you're going to ruin your career, go do it in the NFL and get paid for doing it.
Now, I've heard from multiple sources, and it says a very, very small chance. But let's say the Jets, who are going to probably blow up all their front office and everybody, what if they do get the number 1 pick and they draft Trevor Lawrence? And you know who comes with them? Dabo Swinney. Why wouldn't he leave? I mean, they're going to throw in a lot of money. If they can figure, okay, if we get Trevor Lawrence and we get his head coach to come with them, I think that'd be a no-brainer. But I'm hearing Dabo really likes the college coaching life. But, money changes a lot of people's perceptive.
Yeah, I think there's always that thought process for those guys like the Sabins, the Harbaugh. Well, Harbaugh is more of a pro coach, but they always want that chance to go there and prove themselves in the NFL. Most don't do well Most of those big coaches don't come over here and do well, and they find that they do a much better job in college. But I'd like to see Dabo Swinney, and it would be interesting, Jeff, if Dabo Swinney came over with his quarterback. Boy, that's some off season for the Jets.
That'd be like loosening the fucking wings on the plane, bro. Right after it took off, and just watch it fall apart before it makes it to the end of the runway. I can tell you that much right now.
Oh, you don't? So you don't like it?
No. I like the idea,
Yeah.
but it's the Jets we're talking about. So you've always got to think the worst. Plane crash, minimal amount of survivors.
But how sad is this? How sad it is that kind of like the Jets on Monday night against New England.
That's a scary game.
Fucking wild, man.
How far that game is falling? How far? I want to get to that.
You know, I'll tell you, Bill Belichick may let the Jets win on purpose so that they don't get the number 1 pick because he's such a prick.
Yeah, but
I can see that.
I don't know if it's a rumor or somebody suggested it, but there was some talk that the Jets should trade their number one pick to the Patriots for a boatload of picks. I said, why would you trade with a team in your division who have not been able to catch and give them possibly the best quarterback in the draft and maybe the last couple of years? Does that trade or that rumor make any sense to anybody else? Because it didn't to me.
No, I mean, I don't see that happening. This is going to be probably one of the richest quarterback drafts we've seen in quite some time. I think we have some quarterbacks that can start right away.
Yeah.
When last time we heard this bullshit was 3 years ago, and look where we ended up.
Yeah,
half of them aren't even playing football right now, and the other half are hanging on by a thread.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be almost like an Andrew Luck type of guy. I mean, he just looks like a quarterback. He plays the quarterback like a pro already. He's not like running first and options and all that. He sits in the pocket. He reads the pocket. He has multiple outs. He throws the ball away when there's nothing there. He's just, to me, he reminds me of an Andrew Luck. His arm doesn't remind me of Andrew Luck, but his pocket presence does.
Yeah. Before we get off of college, first of all, listen, Clemson's the darlings of the betting world, I think, at this point. But no Trevor Lawrence this weekend. They're playing Notre Dame. It's 5.5. They I won't say they got lucky, but they got out of that game. By the skin of their teeth against BC last week. I watched that game. Any thoughts to an upset? Could this be one of those weeks where Clemson kind of slips and falls and changes the whole race at this point?
I mean, I think so, because you're playing at Notre Dame. Last time Notre Dame has hosted a number 1 team at home was the Push Bush game at USC when Reggie Bush pushed Lanier into the end zone to win that game.
Right.
I just think overall, Clemson, especially on the defensive side, I think they just have better talent than Notre Dame. No disrespect to Notre Dame, but they don't get that kind of talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And that could be the big key. I think we're going to see a lot of points scored in this game. I would not be shocked if it's a really high-scoring game, because I think both teams will be able to establish the run. Boston College was able to run on Clemson. I think Notre Dame will be able to run on Clemson, and vice versa. I think Clemson's offense is going to be really, really good against the Notre Dame, especially that secondary. So I think we see a lot of points. I have Clemson winning it still. I think it's going to be a much closer game. I have them winning by 4.
I have a hard time believing they're. I think if a packed Notre Dame, maybe. I feel a little better if the place is packed and it's a little different on a young quarterback or a guy who hasn't played a ton of football yet for them. But I can't see them slipping and losing that game. It'll be close. I think it'll be still undecided in the fourth quarter, but. I think Clemson comes out of there with a win. Listen, I mean, I don't like it, but I understand it. Ohio State slipping in the 2-0 into the probably the top 3, depending on what poll you're looking at. I got the New York Post poll in front of me, but any thoughts on Ohio State? I mean, I know Justin Fields is playing great and they're playing good football, but they slid right in there in front of a couple teams, and I'm not sure where they stand. But what's your thoughts on Ohio State jumping right into number 3?
I mean, you figure they were going to when Big Ten was going to start. You figure they were going to be top 4 no matter what, just because of what the caliber they have, the talent they have on both sides. So I didn't mind that. And I think the rankings are still too early because Wisconsin's going to hurt a lot of the Big Ten rankings because now they're 3 games missed already for no contest. So I think that kind of hurts them. I'm more shocked that Notre Dame at the AP poll and the coaches poll is number 4. I mean, I would put Cincinnati above Notre Dame in the poll for the teams they played already. Cincinnati. I don't like Georgia being ahead of Cincinnati. I think that's a big just because it's ACC. We have to drink the SEC Kool-Aid year after year after year. Georgia does not look like they have the same Georgia team we've normally seen. So I think it all plays out. An interesting game. I've been telling, watch out for these Liberty team. If Liberty beats Virginia Tech, who are 14.5-point favorites, that's another big school that they wiped out at Virginia. Winning that road game, that'd be very impressive. I would have to put Liberty in the top 10 if they could beat Virginia Tech with Metallica blaring speakers. That's a big intimidation. So keep an eye out for Liberty this weekend.
Well, I'll be watching a lot of games. There's a lot of win some strange games this year, but we don't have a ton of time tonight, so let's get over to the NFL, where this weekend had to be, Jeff, one of the most interesting. A lot of I call them upsets. I don't know which ones you guys. Vikings Packers game, obviously Dolphins Rams. There was a couple of games that jumped right out at me that were, where did that come from? Jeff, give me a second. What's your thoughts on Vikings Packers? I mean, nowhere in the world that I thought the Packers would lose that game, and then Cook goes off for 4 touchdowns.
Dude, normally I hear you. Normally I would agree with you, but the NFC North teams seem to play one another tough, no matter how bad they are. And I said that earlier in the year that, once they may, of course, they have a pecking order. Somebody's got to finish first or fourth. But it's just something about that division, man. It's like the AFC North. They just play one another hard. Total smash mouth football. So did it surprise me that the Vikings won? On some levels, no. Because I just think that every time that those teams line up with one another, it's going to be a good game. It's very rarely do you see somebody really getting blown out in that division when they play one another. So, no, it didn't shock me too much.
Raphael, what's your thoughts on this past weekend's games?
Well, it was great for us. The books cleaned up.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
For us, but it was good because we lost our booties last week. So for the past 3 weeks, the books won big, the books lost big. The books won big. So that means if that's the case, then you guys are going to make a lot of money this Sunday in the NFL because it's been a teeter-totter for the past 4 weeks. I think he hit it. NFC North games, they're just always tough games. I think the biggest surprise was how bad Baltimore looked in the second half. They were pretty much owning that game against Pittsburgh at halftime, and then I don't know if maybe Harbaugh doesn't make the right corrections at halftime, but the Baltimore Ravens look like a totally different team. And I've been telling people the Steelers have been my AFC Super Bowl team all season long because I think Big Ben, win or lose, he drops the mic. I think that was probably my biggest outcome was how good Pittsburgh looked in the second half with a mediocre Big Ben. I mean, they won on defense and turnovers, and they pretty much said, hey, Baltimore, if you're going to beat us with the run game, try to come through our line because they couldn't run.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that Lamar Jackson is not the quarterback that everybody thought he was last year? Are they starting to know him? Is he starting to cool down? Does he just not the guy that we thought he was last year?
I think he's the guy. I just think people had time to view video. I mean, quarterback, if you're that type of quarterback, and you need to adjust something. And I think Lamar Jackson doesn't want to adjust as much as he normally does. Look at Mahomes. I mean, he looks like a totally different quarterback this year than he does last year. Granted, he's making more mistakes, but he has to because everyone watched film of Patrick Mahomes last year. Everybody watched film of Lamar Jackson last year. I think, look at Russell Wilson. He usually, people always think, oh, he's the greatest quarterback, but he does a lot of turnovers, throws a lot of mistakes because he has to, because people know that he's a run first, so you have to roll the dice. Lamar Jackson, if he doesn't see his first or two options, he's running. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, he's down checking 4 or 5 options and maybe throwing into a 6th option.
Yeah, again, listen, I watched that Steeler game. I got it up in my town. I get a little bit of the Pittsburgh games, Philly, the Pennsylvania games. But, listen, this Steeler team, they don't overwhelm you. You don't go out there going, this team's great, but they play really good defense. Big Ben doesn't make a ton of mistakes, and they got a lot of weapons on offense. And it's just a good football team that I agree with you. I think come later in the season, if this team stays healthy, they're going to be a hard team to beat. And while Kansas City's still Kansas City, I'm not ready to say they're the best team in the AFC by any stretch.
No, and I said this to a colleague of mine. Are the Pittsburgh Steelers the only team to me that look like they have fun on both sides of the ball, offense and defense? I've never seen a team when a defense makes a great stop, the offense is on the field giving them high fives and telling them, congrats, we're going to take this. Thanks for the good fun. I've never seen a team. Last year I saw it with Kansas City, and I've seen it in recent past with New England. But this year I haven't seen any really good team morale besides Pittsburgh that really like playing with each other, offense and defense. And I think locker room. And now I think maybe Antonio Brown and Bell. Maybe they were the good reasons why the Pittsburgh Steelers they got rid of that headache that me because Pittsburgh is not all about me. It's only team. And I think that's a lot. Locker room has a lot to do with it, and I can see some positive coming out of that locker room.
Listen, absolutely, they're a fun team to watch. I'm not a Steelers fan, but I don't go against them, and I rooted for them against the Ravens because I hate John Harbaugh. But let's talk about another division and a team that I think is maybe the best team in that division. Maybe not today, but they're headed that way, and that's the Miami Dolphins. I got to tell you something, guys. That's a good coach football team who's got some talent out there, and I know the Jets and the Pats, we talked about that quick. We'll talk about that Monday night game. Buffalo's not overwhelming me. This Dolphin team's got something, guys.
If they can win on the road this week in Arizona, then we can talk, because that's going to be a big game, because last time we saw Arizona at home, they beat Seattle in overtime.
Yep.
So that's a big game for Arizona, because they're coming off a bye week, so they're rested. And now this is Tua's first road game. Granted, not that many fans in Arizona. Maybe the Arizona fans might be still counting ballots, so not that many people would be at the game anyways. But I think this is going to be a big game, and I agree with you. I didn't think Miami was going to be this far ahead in this so-called rebuild, because remember last year everyone was, Miami's going to tank, and they played really good football towards the end of the season, and this rolled over to this season. So I agree with you. This Miami team will be above 500, I think, towards the whole season, because they still have to play the Jets a couple more times. No disrespect to the Jets. But this team is it's fun to watch. I still think they pulled the trigger on Tua too fast.
I was just going to ask the question to Jeff first, but I agree with you. Jeff, I thought they went to the whip just a little too quick. I thought they could have rode out the Fitzmagic for a little while longer and then made the move, Jeff.
Yeah, but there's a reason why they did that, Tom. Now they're giving this guy a 10-game audition, and they have the Texans' first and second round picks this year, and their own first and second round picks. So they need to see what they have in Tua. Is he still going to be able to play? Is he going to help the team? So I don't blame them for making the switch now. It gives them a big window to watch this kid and see what he can do.
Yeah,
but that team, is it that they're better than other people in the division, or is it that the Jets and the Patriots are just not what people thought? I mean, the Jets suck. The Patriots, everybody thought, well, they're still going to win. They're still going to be good. And, they suck. They're a bad team. They got bad quarterback. The only good thing about them seems to be Belichick. They're dealing with injuries. A lot of guys opted out. Just a shell of itself last year, this team, without Brady and everything. Yeah. I want to see. I won't get on board with that until I see them play next year in their full strength with maybe a different quarterback and see how they fare in that division.
I would say the Cam Newton experiment hasn't worked out great for them.
I'm talking about the Dolphins.
Dolphins. I think Tua is their guy, but I get your point.
Guy, but let's see how he plays next year. Yeah. Let's see what happens with the Patriots next year.
Listen,
the Jets are fourth place. That's all there is to that. I wouldn't worry about them.
Speaking of the Cowboys, now the Cowboys did get the Steelers this week, and that's an unusual spread. I don't know where you guys have it. I was looking for it a few minutes ago. I didn't get to it, but I've seen 13.5 the Dallas Cowboys home dogs.
Yeah, we got 14, and I can guarantee you if Green Bay wins tonight, we're going to be huge Dallas fans and huge Jet fans, because every parlay, money line parlay, is going to have Packers, Pittsburgh Steelers, and New England Patriots on their parlay. And so this Dallas team is just awful. I mean, they had a quarterback that's already benched, DiNucci, which I think I'm trying to open up an Italian restaurant, because DiNucci, I think, is a fantastic Italian restaurant.
Sounds like a wrestler, right, Jeff? Dominic DiNucci.
Yeah, that's awful. Pittsburgh should. The only way Pittsburgh loses this game if they overlook. That's the only way I think the Pittsburgh Steelers lose this game if they overlook this game. Because look at the Tampa Bay. They almost lost last week because I think they were overlooking this week's game with the Saints. So it would not shock me if that's the only way this is a nail biter. If Pittsburgh comes out and plays Pittsburgh football, it's going to be a very, very ugly game.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the 425 game. I mean, that's, before the season starts, you're in the NFL. You go Steelers, Cowboys. Should be a great game. I gotta tell you, I didn't think this Cowboy team was going to be good, even with Dak Prescott. No. I didn't see it. I said it before the season. Where did they get better from last year? And you lost Dak, and then they've fallen apart anyway. Listen, I understand but defensively they were terrible before Dak got hurt. So this is not a good Cowboy team. This NFC East is horrendous. I think the best team in the NFC East is probably the Redskins because of their defense.
Yeah. I mean, week after week, I know your head's going to get really big, but week after week, the Giants are improving on both sides of the ball. They're
great.
I apologized.
No, I listen. There's still not a good football team, but I like the foundation. It reminds me a little bit of what you saw from the Dolphins last year. Couldn't always win, but they were fundamentally a better team, and the structure was good.
They've won one game, and they were lucky.
Oh, my God, here we go.
Come on, they were lucky. If Ron Rivera did the right thing, instead of fucking going for the win like a cowboy, the Giants would be 0-8.
If. Rafa, let me ask you a question. So last week's Jet game, 19.5. This week you got the Cowboys minus 14. Do you get a lot of action on a game like that? Like, to me, it was a no-brainer to bet the Chiefs last week. I mean, nobody in the world thought they were. I didn't think there was a world of a chance the Jets were going to make that a competitive game. I don't think there's a world of a chance.
Dude, I don't think the Jets played. I thought they were going to get blown out even worse.
But they didn't play well. I just didn't play.
But I thought they were still going to get outscored even more. But I was expecting to see 45-0.
I agree. Those types of games, like I said, people parlay them, people tease them, 7-point teasers, money lines, so that they are get heavy bet teams. Kansas City was a really big heavy bet team because they were playing the Jets. And like I said, I can guarantee you people are going to be chasing, if they won or lost, they're going to chase that Monday night game, and they're going to look at New England, and they're going to look at the newspaper and say the Jets stink. They haven't won a game yet. And they're going to bet New England to the cows. I wouldn't be shocked if New England closes around 8 or even 9. Right now it's 7.5 on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, listen, I watched this Patriot team, and they're terrible. I mean, fundamentally bad. Newton does not. I mean, it's just an awful team. It's just a bad mix. I mean, Cam Newton hasn't been a good quarterback in 5 years, and he's not gotten any better with what he's got up there. This game, I mean, the over-under is 42 and change, depending on where you go. I don't think this game gets out of the 20s. I think these are just two bad teams.
Yeah, I mean, thank God I have a lot of stuff on my DVR, or I could watch WWE Raw on Monday night, because I can guarantee you over-under, I will probably watch 5 minutes of that game, probably, and I'll bet the house on the under, because I want nothing to do. I mean, Cam Newton looks like he looks totally different from COVID Cam and non-COVID Cam. It's like night and day. I don't know what happened on that. So it's just two awful teams. They should flex it. And replay an English Premier League soccer game at the same time.
Yeah, Rafael Esparza is joining Jeff and I here at Hard Rock Sports. We're here every Thursday night, 7 to 10, and Rafael joins us every other week or when he feels up to it. And we get some stuff out of it. We're having some fun tonight. But guys, let me ask you: it's mid part of the season. I still don't know who the best teams in football. Now it's easy to say the Steelers, so I'll say the Steelers. In the NFC, is it the Packers? Is it the Bucks? Who is it? The Seahawks? Seahawks are terrible defensively. I think the Bucks are the best team because they're a little more well-rounded and their defense is better. But I wasn't impressed with the Bucks on Monday night. Rafael,
I think they were overlooking. If they dominate the game at home against the Saints, which I'm hearing it could be some weather involved because another hurricane is going to be heading towards Florida in the Gulf, so they might have some rain up in Tampa during the game. I think that helps Tampa Bay more than it helps Drew Brees and the Saints. So if they can dominate that game, then I would put them ahead as a top team and maybe in the NFC. But I still think they were probably overlooking that game last week to play the Saints.
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. Before the season, Jeff, I told you that I thought that the Bucks were at least 2 games better, probably, and make the playoffs. I didn't think they'd make a deep run, but this is better. You were totally against it. Have you changed your mind on the Bucks, Jeff?
No, fuck
No?
Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady so much. If he was on a team that finished 16-0,
yeah,
I'd find a way to give them the number 1 pick. I'd find somehow, some way to make them the worst team in the league.
But this Buck team's not bad. And listen, there's a lot of incentive there. If you're Tom Brady, you got the Belichick thing. So go to the Super Bowl if you're Tom Brady. It's in Tampa. I'm sure there's going to be a few people in the stands by that point. At this point, they're already getting, I think, 20,000 in there. I'm not sure about that number, but there's a lot of incentive for Tom Brady, and I got to tell you, he's played better than last year. Last year, Tom Brady to me looked like Peyton Manning toward the end. He played better this year.
You got to remember something about Tampa Bay. All right, they already lost one piece with that kid Vita V, right? One of their defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Then they got Dominic Sue, and they got JPP. So they have 2 older defensive linemen, one injured. They have a quarterback who's older. So they have a lot of older pieces. One day, these guys are just going to come out on the field and be like, you know what? I can't play no more. And it's going to show. It's going to be obvious. And especially with Brady, it could happen any moment. It could happen. And you know that. The wheels are just going to fall off on this guy. And you know
But they got Blaine Gabbert as his backup.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's like having Mark Sanchez as your backup.
All right, but let's bring. I want to get to a couple other things. I want to bring the NFL at the midway point, guys, or basically at the midway point. Give me the biggest surprise, Raphael, good or bad in the NFL right now.
I mean, let's face it, the bad has to be Dallas. I mean, I didn't think they were going to be, what's their record? 1 win, 2-6. I didn't think that, but I didn't think Dak was going to be out for the season. I didn't think finger pointing in the locker room, all the negativity that's with Dallas. I think that has to be the biggest one. And I would think the biggest surprise, I mean, besides maybe Pittsburgh still being the only undefeated team, I would have to probably say the biggest surprise is probably, I'm going to say the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, everyone thought everyone was betting them like crazy, like they were like the Cleveland Browns of last year. But they played some really good football so far. Their defense is improving. Kyler Murray, it looks like he's improved from his rookie season, being an NFL quarterback, not run first. His pocket presence is really good. Mm-hmm. I would think Arizona battling in the NFC West, that win against Seattle is going to come back and benefit them the whole season long to getting that W. Granted, I know it was in overtime, but hey, when you beat that team in any field, that's a W that's in your back pocket. So I'm going to have to say I'm a little bit shocked at Arizona being fired. I thought the Rams might be a little bit ahead of them, or the 49ers. But I'll just say 5-2 Arizona Cardinals. That could be easily 6-2 when we talk next week.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. What about Jeff? You got a couple surprises. Good
I got one big surprise, and I'm going to elaborate on what Raphael said because I agree with him. But the whole NFC West, you got the Seahawks in first place, where you knew they were going to be near the top of the division. But the Rams are doing better than they were last year. The 49ers that were in the Super Bowl, I thought they were taking a step in the right direction. They didn't. The Cardinals are coming along very nicely. And I think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I bet you they'll get a wild card this year. So I would have to say the whole NFC West. I kind of figured that maybe the 49ers would have made a run at the division instead of the Seahawks. But other than that, maybe the Ravens. They're not the team that I thought they were going to be. Maybe the Chiefs aren't exactly the team that they were last year. But not too many other surprises to me.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think the Las Vegas team's a little bit of a surprise. Cleveland, a little bit of a surprise. I think Cincinnati for me. While it hasn't translated to a ton of wins, I think Cincinnati's a much better team, and Joe Burrow has been a pleasant surprise for me.
Yeah. They need a running back because he might be the first quarterback that needs Tommy John surgery because he throws the ball so much every game. So they need a running game.
Yeah, but I see something with that team. So I think that's That's interesting. We'll leave it there for that. Well, I want to get a couple quick things in with Rafael before we let him go. Tell me about what's. I haven't heard 3 words about Tyson Jones. I seen a couple things pop up on my Facebook page, but it's been quiet. Is that still going? Is it the money coming in? What is it? Is it the 28th? I believe, right?
You know what I'm worried. I don't know if do you see what I'm doing in here? I mean, do you have a camera in my office? Because I am actually working on prop bets for the Tyson for November 28th. I actually put up 2 undercards. Badu Jack is fighting. There's 5 undercard fights in this fight, so the undercards will be out today. I'm going to put some prop bets out tomorrow morning. I think once. I think after this week we'll go on. We'll start hearing more about because it's 3 weeks away, the 28th. So I think that'll get some excitement. And I don't know if you watched the press conference of Tyson and Roy Jones. I think it was 2 days ago.
No, it is.
Tyson, Roy Jones was treating this like an exhibition, and Tyson was treating it like he was Drago from Rocky IV, saying, "I must break you, and if he dies, he dies." Because he was all business. He says, "I ain't treating this like an exhibition. I'm treating this to show all the people my age that you could still do stuff. If you train well, you eat well, you could still do some stuff." And he said it multiple times in his press conference. "I will not accept $1 bill that I make in this. Everything I'm going is going 100% to charity." And he said he's going to pay his trainers and I think his cornerman. But he says, "I will not take a penny of this money that we're making. Everything is going to charity." And he says he's going to do something on social media where you can actually pick some charities for him to donate some money at. He says, so I think it's going to get hyped up probably the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Again, I will tell you this. I haven't paid for a boxing match, pay-per-view. Wherever that fight is, Jeff, I'm going to watch it because to me, it's one of the most interesting fights that I can remember just because of the names and what it represents. Jeff, you have any interest in trying to find that someplace?
Yeah, I'm coming to your house to watch it, wherever you're watching it.
There you go. You're more than welcome. I am going to get it. I'm going to find it somewhere.
I want to see. Honestly, I want to see just how good a shape Tyson is in more so than Roy Jones Jr. I don't think Roy Jones Jr. has any business getting into the ring with Mike Tyson at any age. I think it's career suicide, and this guy must have a terminal disease or some shit. And he's like, "Fuck it, I might as well just see what I can do against him." I would not want to get in the ring. After watching those short clips of Tyson working out, I would not want to be in the ring with Tyson.
We did see that. We did see that interview Tyson did with the BBC where he was
Tyson, I'll get in the ring with, man.
Yeah, he's a scary dude. I mean, I've met him many times, talked to him many times up in Vegas, and I remember old Tyson with Don King being a total, pardon my French, prick in the sports books to all of us. And then talking to him now, I can't explain how big of a 360. Granted, he smokes a lot of weed now, but I think when Customoto passed away, I think that totally just ripped out not only his heart but his will to be a nice human being. I think with Customoto passing away, that was not only his father but his mother, his brother, his aunts. He didn't have nobody besides Don King running his life. So I'm not saying that all the stuff he did, I'm not telling me I forgive him or he's the nicest guy. But I'm just saying, knowing that I talked to Mike Tyson when he was married to Robin Givens in sports books and being a total prick, and then talking to him a couple of years ago, it's like I was talking to a totally different person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Listen, I was a huge Tyson fan when he let Kevin Rooney go. To me, that was where the fall off, and then of course Don King come into his life. But I tell you, if there's one human being who's made the biggest turnaround in the history of sports or the history, it's Mike Tyson. I mean, ever since the movies he did, his one-man show, Mike Tyson's that lovable guy. But Jeff's right. He looks like an absolute killer right now. And I'm not sure, I could take any money to get in the ring with him, Jeff.
Look, Rafael, can I ask you a question about Tyson?
Yeah.
That you said you've met him several times. I mean, we only know the Tyson we've seen on TV and his fights and interviews and everything else. You've seen him in person. How hard does Mike Tyson look like? He looks like, to me, that he's like a tank. in real life? Is that what he's like?
When he was young, I remember watching him trying to lose some weight before a weigh-in, and I walked in. This is back in the day at MGM where I used to go to the weigh-ins. I used to walk the back way to beat the crowd, and he was jumping rope for the weigh-in, and he was just cut. Looked like a tank. The first time I saw Mike Tyson's show, his one-man show, I think he weighed 3 bills. He was a big, fat piece of shit tank. And now last time I seen him when he was starting to lose weight and stuff like that, you could tell he was lifting weights. Like normally he doesn't lift weights, but you could tell through his forearms and his handshake that he probably can't punch the bag as many times like he used to. So he was probably trying to get more cardio and more weight work in. So his hands were a lot harder than they were before. But he's still a big guy. But I remember when I saw him when he weighed 3+ bills after his show, I got to go backstage and shoot the shit with him. And boy, did he was breathing heavy just walking off the stage to his dressing room. That's how overweight he was.
Wow.
Yeah. I listen, to me, and again, I've stopped following boxing, so I don't know a lot of the things about the new guys, but my prime of watching boxing, there was no better guy than the early Tyson. Was the best fighter I ever saw, bar none.
Without that guy was a savage.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. How he handled business inside the ring is just unbelievable. I mean, people feared him before he even took off his T-shirt. He didn't come in a robe. He had a T-shirt on every time he walked into the ring.
Listen,
they were feared. Take a shower after his fucking matches. They were so quick.
Let me tell you something. The first few times I saw him, he was fighting once a month or more. And this is obviously when he was coming up. You didn't see guys who had a name fight as much as he did. He was fighting every week, it seemed like. And the guy was just a monster. The best fighter pound for pound I ever saw was Tyson in his heyday. Now, at the end, he was a shell.
I remember seeing articles about him in the paper. They were this big. Mike Tyson KO 7th in a row, or Tyson wins 9th in a row, whatever it would be at the time. And they would just be these little articles. And every once in a while, they get a little bit bigger because he was moving up the ranks.
Yeah.
The guy moved up relatively quick. As soon as he came across Mitch Green, that seemed to put him up over the fucking top.
Yeah.
I remember that. It made him a household name.
Yep.
Blood Green. Wow. Hey, Raphael, before that, you go, tell me, a lot of the guys I follow our show, and they talk about the horse racing. Tell me, is it the Breeders' Cup that's this weekend?
Yeah, Breeders' Cup is this weekend, and not that many people realize that the Breeders' Cup this weekend. It's the Super Bowl of horse racing.
That's why I brought it up, because I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, Breeders' Cup, the Breeders' Cup Classic is Saturday. Some great horses. Improbable, Tiz the Law is in it. Authentic, who won the Derby. Some great races. And like I said, it's the Super Bowl of horse racing. And it sucks that it's going to be overshadowed by some really good football games. Just like I think the Masters next week is going to be overshadowed a little bit because of college football, NFL, and stuff like that. But yeah, Breeders' Cup is this weekend. People don't even realize this week is the last race of NASCAR. I mean, if you would have asked 100 people that you see today, hey, do you know NASCAR's last race is this weekend? People are going to say, NASCAR is still going? So yeah, Breeders' Cup this weekend. I can't wait to watch it. I'll be watching all the races. Authentic, that's my horse to win Breeders' Cup Classic.
All right. Well, I want to finish with this. I go on your site almost every day, but today's the first day I really kind of concentrated on a couple things, and I'm always curious on how you come up with these things. So I see stuff, prop bets for chess, weather betting, and then I go down and I see religion, and I go, I got to check this. Pope prop bets. Like what? I mean, what is it? I mean, how do you come up with Pope prop bets?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a really quick story about the Pope. The last time we got a new Pope, we were the first sports. I was one of the first odds makers to put up odds who's going to be the next Pope. So I did all my research, did a whole bunch of research, set this guy that's now the Pope as a favorite. He wins, the gray smoke, they announce him. 2 days later, I get an email from someone from Italy wanting to know where I got my information. And so I started reading all the times it got forwarded. Now I'm seeing the Vatican on some of these emails. How'd you find out who's the favorite? So now I'm like, well, first of all, how did you get my email address? It's not like you can Google search my email address. It's not like I publicized it all the way. So yeah, they were trying to find out where I got all my information, because I had all these popes. Like 4 of them didn't even say that they wanted to be the next pope, but they said behind closed doors that if they got voted in or whatever, how they did it, they would accept it. So it was really weird. So now I'm into all that research. I love researching crazy weather odds and pope odds and entertainment odds. It's what do you do when you're watching football? You're just sitting there drinking beer, eating stuff you shouldn't be eating. Well, I'm researching and doing other things to try to find interesting stuff to bet.
Yeah, but let me ask you something. How did you feel after finding you were like in an email chain with the Vatican, of all places? They got to be one of the most crooked places in the history of the world, and here they are with your information asking you questions.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little uneasy that maybe a priest is going to come to your house and blow you up or something.
It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me because I think, was it 15 years ago, my computer got hacked by the Russian mob, and they actually were in my computer, and all they were looking at was my sportsbook stuff. My online gaming, my online checking accounts were there, credit cards. So I took it to the Geek Squad at Best Buy, and they said everything in the back end code was all in Russian. So then the FBI had to get involved, and the Metro Police. So it happens to me all the time.
Well, I got to tell you, you're a brave man. I wouldn't be messing with the Pope. I'm sorry. It's
really.
God's up there, and he's going, why is this guy putting bets on my guys? It's a little scary. I got to be honest with you, but
hey, come on! These 12 guys walking around in the desert back in the day. You don't think those guys were gambling on anything? Come on!
I mean, Jeff, I'm looking at it.
Have a fucking email address to get somebody on the other side of the globe, though, man.
Yeah, they pulled your name out of somewhere. Somebody somewhere's got your number. But listen, we wish you luck, and listen, hopefully it'll be a good week for you guys out there, and everybody go. If you're going to bet, I tell you, go to mybookie.ag. It's a good site. They got obviously got a lot of fun places to drop your money and to keep it interesting. And maybe, I don't know when Rafael's going to come back, if it's next week or we're going back to the regular schedule. But he'll be back on soon, and we love having him on the show. Rafael, thanks, brother. Much appreciated.
Take it easy, guys. And Jeff, how's your dog doing? I'm always thinking about your dog when I see the picture.
Unfortunately, she's blind. She had one eye removed last year, and she's got glaucoma in the remaining eye. So she's pretty much totally blind, it looks like. And but she's getting better by the day. She's getting more acclimated with her other senses. So at times you don't even realize that she's blind. She's running up and down the stairs in the house, and she'll in the long run, she's going to be fine.
Good. My thoughts and prayers to her.
Thank you, man. We appreciate that.
Very nice, you, Rafael. Listen, Rafael, thanks a lot, brother. We'll talk to you soon, and you let me know when you want to come back.
We'll do. Take it easy, guys. Have a great weekend.
You Later. Too, Rafael Esparza, mybookie.ag. So, Jeff, we got a couple more minutes. By the way, happy anniversary to you and your lovely wife. You guys celebrated a anniversary this past week.
Yes, 13. And you know something, I never heard from a certain person in the wedding party in regards to my anniversary.
I know who you're referencing. I get it. I just
hard to believe. Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say.
Just throwing that out there. Watch it.
I got you. Your anniversary did pass, and I guess not everybody remembered, but you did put up a post about it, so that should have sparked a little bit of.
Yes, it should have. No, I had to do that. My wife put something up. I had to put something up.
No, I listen wholeheartedly, and I hope you guys had a nice night. I don't know if you were able to go out and celebrate and.
Yeah, we went out. We went to this place, Violet Cellar, which one night, by the way, you and your wife have to come. We've discovered a couple new restaurants here.
Good.
And you and your wife should come out. Maybe not Violet Cellar, because when the bill came, I kind of blew the back of my head off. I kind of finished gluing the pieces up. This was with no drinks. And
really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, "Oh, I thought it was going to be more." I'm like, "Are you kidding? What the fuck is the matter with you?" But no, it was really good, and we had a good time. And
good for you.
She doesn't look to do much like that. So if we go a couple times a year, it is what it is. I don't care.
Congratulations on it, though. I want to get what we always talk about our personal stuff on here, so I want to bring it up. It's coming to that time of year where I usually send out the text message or the Facebook message about our big jam get together, and I've been reluctant this year, and almost to the point where I've thought about, well, Do I really want to get in the middle of it? Do I want to do it? I've felt a little bit like there's been a lack of interest in guys lately. So, we're on the air. Who knows if any of the guys are listening and all that. Are you as enthused as we've done it? And here's the thing I also think. I thought last year was always fun getting together. But I thought doing it in the daytime wasn't the same as when we do it in the evenings. I think in years past, we've gotten together at night, gone and have a drink afterwards. What's your thought on the jam this year with the boys?
Well, I'm hoping that it happens, of course.
Okay.
That's without a doubt, because it's always nice to see you guys
Absolutely
around Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
I will admit, it's not that I don't have interest in it. It's all of a sudden, it's November 5th or November 6th, whatever it is. It's like November 5th. What happened?
Yeah.
Where did the time go? And it's like, I hope we do it. I hope we continue to do it for years after this.
I've said it. I wanted to, yeah.
It's the thought that, like, holy shit, where the fuck did the time go?
Yeah. Dude, I turned on the radio today and I'm listening to Christmas music.
Yeah, I was in JCPenney the other day.
Yeah, I saw your post.
JCPenney, and there it was, Christmas music. And I told my wife on the way home, I threw on some Mario Lanza.
Nice. Yes,
ultimate Christmas music as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yes, that's as Christmas as you can get.
Yeah, and had that on, and well, you know what? I mean, see this here?
Uh-huh.
I have the Christmas candle.
There you go.
Okay, which I have them in my windows now.
Oh, nice.
Along with the Halloween lights. I'm transitioning.
Okay.
I have some Christmas stuff here. I don't know if we can catch it all, but let me see if I can. See that? That's always out, the Christmas stuff right there.
Okay.
Lucy and
a
little piece of the tree, cardinal.
Yeah.
So I got a couple other Christmas pieces. One just fell over. I got this the other day.
Nice.
Charlie Brown.
Little Chuck Brown.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this year, Jeff. So I've decided this week I'm gonna it's either this week or next weekend. I'm gonna go out and start getting my Christmas stuff in the house. I'm going to start cleaning it up, but I've always wanted to do a theme. Like go buy all the little pieces for either the Rudolph or the Peanuts. I think I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do a little display in the house someplace and kind of have a theme to Christmas this year. So I'm excited for the holidays. Thanksgiving's a hop, skip, and a jump. We'll be off that night, and I don't know. Maybe we'll try to do a show other than that. We'll see how it works out, but the jam thing has been bothering me that normally by now I'm plotting it out. What's the best weekend, getting my thoughts together on it. And I'm not sure why I've been hesitating. I think I know why I've been hesitating, but
why who the fuck does Louis Pigo? Is he busting balls or what? What's his fucking deal?
He's great. I love Louis. He's the best. What's your thought? So we got to go ahead with it, right? We got to do it.
I think so. I think it's something that we look forward to every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
Yep.
Why not?
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with it. We've done it for how many years now?
Yeah, you know what?
Close to 10 years.
I was going to say, do you remember the first one? Do you remember when it was? Like how? I'm sure I have it on my Facebook someplace, but I'm curious. Like I think it is 10 years now. I
mean, let me ask you this: Why don't you feel so strongly about it this year?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's because I don't feel like the guys have made the effort this year to kind of stay in touch more. And, I always want to do it. I look forward to it every year, seeing everybody. But I feel like it's November 5th and nobody said, "Hey, we're doing the jam."
Well, not for nothing.
Yeah.
You got to think of it this way. In the past, there have been different things happening. We've been able to go to different places.
True.
This year, there hasn't been anything. Can't really do much.
Nope.
So it's almost like, what? I think for everybody, last year at this time, we were just getting ready for another benefit.
True. That's right. You're right.
We had stuff going on, and it's like, what do you do? Well, nobody's doing anything. It's like dead out there,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think they mean anything by it. I just think that everybody's like, well, another week, nothing. Another week, nothing.
Yeah, but I think even more reason why you'd be getting excited to say, "Hey guys, we got to do our jam. We haven't gotten together. I just I think I got to get myself motivated. I've been playing a lot. I've been going over the songs that we were supposed to do, and maybe we'll get to do at some point with the Hard Rocket Sports Band. But I've got some of the old stuff and some new stuff, just having some fun with it. But like I said, I haven't gotten that itch yet. But we'll see. Again, I'll talk to you after about we'll have to talk about the invite list.
I think that the guys, once we reach out to them, I think they'll be into it.
Yeah, I think if I'll tell you the truth, I'm going to be. Can I be completely honest?
With me, of course.
Last year was a pain in the ass because who could make it? I can't make this day. I might be able to. I'll try. I'll let you know. Now, again, everybody wound up showing up. I think the only one who missed, obviously, was your brother, which I'm hoping he'll come this year because now his schedule's a lot different. Because I know at the end of the year, that's a very rough time for him coming up on New Year's. But the other person who missed was Ronnie Morms. Everybody else seemed to be there. Obviously, my brother can't be there because where he lives. Bob Peck was there. We had, it's always weird to play, Led Zeppelin songs with a priest. But that being said, there are a lot worse things to be doing with a priest than that. But that's a whole different show. But yeah. So I mean, I think I have to talk to you about the guest list. We might have to expand the guest list a little bit this year. We'll see. But we'll get that together. We'll figure it out, right?
Yeah, listen, I hope that when it happens, I really do. Yeah. I look forward to it every year. It's always a lot of fun. And listen, don't let some others that don't want to come ruin a good time for you. You know what I mean? When you think about it, if the core people are there, that's all that really matters. If Ronnie Morms can't make it, that's a shame.
Yep.
Be nice. Hopefully Joey will want to be there, and Jimmy, and Paul and me and you. And we need to, now that you mention it, start saying stuff now because it's like, come on, guys, let's start because, no excuses. We got to get this done.
Yeah, usually mid-October, I'm throwing the message out, and I did. And I looked up, it's November 5th. I said, that's not like me to. So I will do that. I will send a message out over the weekend and say, guys, here's a couple different weekends that we can do it. Who's in? And let's start throwing some songs around so people can, we have some stuff to play. But
I'm not even worried about that. Listen, one thing I would say is I think that we're better off with the downstairs room than the upstairs room.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. We're not playing upstairs. We're going to play downstairs because guys can go out, have whoever smokes wants to smoke. Could go down the street.
The upstairs room is for the serious stuff. The downstairs room is a little bit more room, like you said. The door's right there.
Yeah, I thought the whole vibe of it changed last year being upstairs. To be honest with you, I did. I thought it was different.
The daytime thing, I agree with you.
Yeah. I think in the middle of the day, people were more. You know what it was? It was more. Well, I still got hours left. Let me get home to do this with my wife, or let me go do this some shopping, or whatever. I just felt like it was different, and it wasn't bad. I was nice to get together, but I felt like it was rushed. That we were, to me, I know as soon as we were done, I went downstairs to say goodbye. Usually in years past, we would go down to Rosebank Tavern or sit outside for an hour and change and just bullshit. So I will tell you, it will be in the evening, one way or the other, and it'll probably be a Saturday, not a Sunday. I'll be shocked because last year we did it on a Sunday in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
So
you guys came to my house. We watched a little football, and then we went over there.
Yeah, so we'll see. I will get that together. Jeff, two quick things before we call it a night. There was an article this week about the NBA season getting started December 22nd, and some of the players don't want to start that soon, and LeBron's going to take a month off. But what really irked me about it, and I read the article, I try to read all these articles so that way when people bring it up on the air, I can have a somewhat semblance of knowledge about it. And somebody, and I can't quote it off the top of my head, but somebody said, well, the NBA players made such a sacrifice this year playing in the bubble. And I went, sacrifice? Wait a second. They played because they wanted to get paid. LeBron wanted them to protest and not play in the playoffs. And they said, are you crazy? We ain't going to get paid. Where's the Jeff, the unmitigated goal to say that they sacrificed? They were living in Florida resorts, getting everything handed to them, and they had to go play basketball a few times a week. does that infuriate you, or is it just me?
I listen. Any of these guys are basically playing a game and getting paid to play a game. Okay, the sacrifice is that they're not allowed to go to their mansions. They're not allowed to spend time with their families. They're not allowed to go play with their expensive toys, cars, trucks, whatever else it is that they have. But they're getting paid handsomely to go play a game. Okay, the bubble was instituted to keep people that were involved safe and healthy as they can be.
Yeah.
So, they're looking out for your best interests, not mine, because we're watching the games at best, if you're even watching basketball.
Yeah.
The players, it's a little selfish for them to turn around and say, excuse me, a little selfish for them to turn around and say that, I made sacrifices and everything else. I should make that kind of sacrifice. I go to work every day. I know that you don't work in the most ideal of conditions.
Yep.
I work in a building that's close to 100 years old. That I have a fucking portable heater.
Yeah.
Because the heating system sucks and it doesn't work. And they try to fix it every year. They do something to fix it, and all they do is change the same fucking pipe, but yet it's still cold all fucking winter long. So it is what it is. These guys are playing in the comfort of home. They probably got a nice resort, pool, and everything else they want. And, I should be treated like that.
But they use the word sacrifice, and when people,
somebody said this.
No, it was in the Post this week. I don't know if they were quoting a player or if it was the writer who said it. But I was like, how are the NBA players sacrificing? It's not like they're living in some college dorm room, eating Domino's pizza. And even that's not a sacrifice. They're doing it because they want the money. They didn't do it for free, and they're giving the money to charity or COVID patients. I just was offended by the whole conversation. I found it offensive.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. So you got to remember that everything that they're doing, they're social justice warriors. These motherfuckers.
Oh yeah. No, listen, the NBA's lost me as a fan for life. I can't imagine ever going. I'll go to a game. I'll take my wife loves basketball. I will take her to a Knicks game in the future for sure. But I will not be an NBA fan. I can't imagine ever being an NBA fan ever again. So, last thing for me, Jeff, 76-year-old Tony La Russa is managing again. 10 years or so, I think 2010 or 11 was his last year managing, and he's back in baseball. What's your thoughts on a 76-year-old guy coming out of retirement to manage again?
Man, Christ, I'd be worried if he's going to fucking slip in the shower in his hotel room. Or, are they going to find him in bed when he was supposed to wake up at fucking 8 and it is 3:30 in the afternoon and he's fucking blue laying there?
Yeah.
A lot of things. A man that old. 76. Come on, dude.
Here's the sad thing. If you're baseball and that's the best you could try out there. Now, Tony La Russa is a Hall of Fame manager, won 3 World Series. He's a great manager. Don't get me wrong, but you're telling me that that's the best you can do. I mean, Dusty Baker is thought of as a relic. He's 71, and he came up because they needed to have somebody manage the Astros after the scandal. Tough.
Oh, listen, you know what? All of a sudden, taking the older fella seems to be the
in thing.
You know what I mean? It's kind of scary.
Yeah. Again, more power to him. And I'm not saying that Tony Russo won't do a good job, but if you're telling me that the best you could try it out as a guy who hasn't managed in 6 or 7 years, maybe more, he's 70 years old. I gotta be honest with you. 76.
A funny story, man.
Go ahead. I love a funny story.
Speaking of my anniversary, when we got married, the night before we got married, we had to go for our rehearsal.
Okay.
So we went to the church where we got married in, the one in Oakwood, below the boulevard on Guyan Avenue.
Okay.
Right, that's where we got married. So we went there, and the reverend that was marrying us was, man, Christ, I don't even know how old he was. He had to be in his fucking 80s, maybe pushing 90. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure he's not around anymore. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Nice guy and everything else. So we get there. We were supposed to be there for 7 o'clock.
Okay.
We get there 7 o'clock. Nobody's there. 5 after, 10 after 7. We're starting to think like, well, hopefully we're getting married tomorrow. Hopefully there's somebody to do the wedding tomorrow. Okay. So now it's getting later. I forget exactly how much time. So my wife is like, go knock on the door and hopefully he's there, and hopefully he's alive. Now, because now we're thinking that he ain't here no more, We're like, oh, this is great. Everything's set for tomorrow. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
We end up knocking on the door and he just like passed out and fell asleep or whatever. But he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I totally forgot. I totally forgot you were coming here and you get married. Oh, I'm sorry. And everything ended up working out for the best. But it was just the thought that,
a little scary.
Using somebody this old to do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, just don't know, is he going to be here for tomorrow? You don't know.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, listen, I listen, more power to Tony La Russa, more power to guys who are at that. I hope I have the energy at that age to do the things that these guys do. But I just found it to be weird that baseball, it's an analytics game. It's a young man's game, they say. And they trot out a guy, who's 76. That can't be a long-term decision, Jeff.
No, come on.
So, I mean, even
talking
if he's the best man in the job, I mean, what do you get in a year, two?
Who hired him again?
The White Sox.
The White Sox. Maybe they just figured to get interest, people interested in the team and everything. What else could it be, Tom?
Jeff, his first job managing was 1979 for the Chicago White Sox. So that's
41 years. So it'll be 42 years since he was on started off in the White Sox as a manager.
Yeah. So think about that. Like, come full circle, but that's 40 years later. That's a tough one.
Yeah, well, listen, hopefully he's there long enough to come full circle.
Yes.
Doesn't leave the circle broken.
Well, let me ask you this question, Jeff, real fast. Let's say COVID's still lingering next year. Isn't that a little tough to have your 76-year-old manager traveling the country with a bunch of guys with being the demographic that's most affected by COVID?
Maybe he manages off the iPad or something. I don't know.
It's just weird to me. It's an interesting hire.
If he's like, all right, you take me out there, you trot him out there to go argue with somebody on the iPad,
Maybe he has to go maybe he has to go to the mound like on a scooter. You gotta make the trip to the mound on the scooter.
Or have his jitterbug call up the fucking bullpen with his jitterbug.
On Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom, we're winding down. Guys, listen, we're going to end this thing right here. We had a lot of fun tonight. Even though Tommy John didn't show up, I apologize to everybody. I did the best I could, and I cannot make people actually show up.
Did he contact you about coming on?
No, I sent out a message a while back, and I don't know if it's his girlfriend or an agent, but she got right back to me and says, absolutely, give me some dates. I sent the dates. She came back and said, no good here, but we're good here. Everything was on the money. She sent me a message last week. Are we still on? I said, yes. I sent her a message 2 days ago and said, is everything good for Thursday? We're set. Send me the link. I sent her the link today. Nothing got back. Are you coming? Didn't hear anything. And I have a rule. I send you 2 emails today. If you don't respond, I'm not chasing you. We'll get through the show without you.
Well, it's hoping that Tommy John is still on this side of dirt right now, standing up.
Yeah, maybe he's counting ballots out. He lives out in Arizona, Jeff, so maybe he's out there counting ballots.
Who knows?
Well, listen, it is what it is. But guys, we're going to bring this show to a close. I've loved every second of the show. Starting out with Paul Gill, Rafael Esparza, Jeff, and I, and all of you people, especially Lupika, who seems to jab Jeff. I got to get Louie and Jeff together in the same room one of these days. I think they'll get along really well. But thanks to Louie and everybody else who paid attention. And big thanks to all the people who support our show. And we're looking forward to next week already. No guests at all next week. It's Jeff and me, and I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. We'll figure it out.
It'll be a lot of fun, man. It'll be a lot of fun, without a doubt. It always is.
Absolutely. So, guys, the holidays are coming. The Hard Rocket Sports will be here. We'll be off for Thanksgiving, but we'll be here. And the bad part, Jeff, we have to start thinking about this. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve are Thursday nights. So we may have to do some alternate day shows if we want to do shows. We're going to miss a few weeks.
Yeah, that's all. Just have to do that.
All right. Well, we'll have to figure out that way. I think we have to be on the air for Christmas, whether or not it's Wednesday, Tuesday, or whatever. We have to be on the air for Christmas because we have to have our Christmas show. I'm going to try to put together. Maybe I think this year we should do some people singing Christmas carols on the show.
We can get some people to call in and do that.
Yeah, so maybe we gotta get an elf on the shelf. I think he's been around Facebook a little bit more, so maybe we get the elf on the shelf.
I've seen some rumblings.
I agree. So maybe we have to do that. So I'll have to start putting together a Christmas show. But if you're out there and you can sing and you got maybe a couple of people with you, do me a favor, contact Jeff for me because I want to get somebody to come on and sing Christmas carols. Jeff, I expect the house to be everything behind you to be decorated Christmassy. You'll be
funny you should mention that. Due to the poor Basil's blindness, we're not going to be able to put up the Christmas trees like we did last year.
Really?
Well, we don't want to confuse her and everything. But we're gonna figure something out. A tree is going up. We just got to figure out what's best for her.
Okay.
Works for us. So a tree is going up, but every year my wife wants a real tree.
Yes.
So we get the real tree, and we used to put that in our dining room and everything. But I don't know if that's going to work this year with her. So my wife wants to put a real tree up in the bedroom someplace.
Okay.
So it looks like we're going to have a tree in the bedroom someplace.
Interesting motif. But
oh yeah. You know, hopefully the angel will be on top.
I have an interesting thought to close out the Hard Rock Sports Christmas show.
You want us to do it under the tree? Okay.
No. I do want to bring your wife into this.
I'll make her wear a mask. You won't know what's up.
I think you should get your cap and your Christmas attire, and I think you should recite some sort of Christmas poem to end the show.
If you like, I could maybe rewrite the night before Christmas.
You could do a real one. You can make up one of your own, but I think the show should end with you sitting there in your cap, the nice cap hanging down with the little fuzzy ball. We'll put a little display around you, and you should recite a little Christmassy thing going out the door. Like "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." You could do your own version or the real version. I think that's how that show's going to end.
If that's what you want, man. You got it.
That's what I want.
When I was in Talking Trash, we played Big Nose Cakes. We went there the December 23rd and left December 24th.
Okay.
And we did Panama. Van Halen. And at the end of the solo, there's a pause for a brief second.
I experienced that exact thing when I came to see you guys play out there. Yes.
We did it and recited "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
I think that's it. And I think that's great. And I think that's what you should do here. We're going to close the show with you up on the screen all by yourself doing "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" or some sort of Christmassy thing. We'll have some guests.
Totally the night before Christmas. We'll do the night before Christmas. It gives me plenty of time to work on something.
Okay.
You give me a list of names that you would like, and I'm going to try to incorporate them into the story. Okay. I'm gonna do past show guests and friends of the show. Okay. All right, and we'll do that. We'll have to decide when we're going to do that, and whether it's the week before or if we're going to do a show that week before Christmas, because we won't be able to be on Christmas Eve. So I don't know. We'll have to talk off the air if one of those 3 days that week will work for you. And we're going to do a Christmas themed show. We'll always make it work.
We'll do a Christmas themed show, and I'll start working on the guest list. We'll have some people call in and wishing us, and we'll wish them Merry Christmas. So, guys, but anyway, I hope you guys go out there, enjoy your week. The holidays are coming. Go out and spend some money. Let's have some fun and support. And, of course, if you want to send Jeff and I gifts, send us a message. We'll let you know where to mail them or deliver them. And I happen to fit into a small EVH guitar. Jeff himself.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought that was already taken care of.
Well, Jeff, I spoke to them, and they're getting in 1 or 2 or 3 at a time. I am on a 30-person list as of the other day. I have no idea if and when I'm ever getting it. So I am still waiting. I am still on the list, but nothing's here yet. But, guys, I will accept all gifts and all denominations of money. And if it's pesos, I'll be happy to go to the place and exchange it. So send it away. Jeff and I are ready. I got to pay for the construction going on in the other room. So, but guys,
by the way,
it's okay. I mean, we've accomplished some stuff where we're creeping into my Saturday a little bit here. But other than that, it's other than spending way too much money right before Christmas, which is never a good thing. But all I wanted was a bigger refrigerator, and I got a whole new kitchen. I swear to God, I just wanted a bigger refrigerator. I wound up with new lights, new countertop, new backsplash, new floors, all new appliances. Yeah, and less money in the bank.
There you go.
Well, what are you going to do? It's all part of it. But guys, keep a look on hotrocketsports.com for more information on things coming up for the show. No new guests coming up, so we'll see what happens. But we'll have some stuff coming up along the way. And again, thanks to Paul Gill, Rafael Esparza, my dad, and everybody else out there who paid attention online and who contributes to the show. Jeff, last word for you. Got anything you want to end with?
No, that's it, man.
All right, so for Jeff Towinski, myself, and everybody here at Hard Rock and Sports, I say thank you, good night, have a great weekend, be safe, and we'll see you next Thursday night right back here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. F.A., good job, man.
Later, my friend.
Later, man.
Later.
All right, everybody. And we end it.